Coming to you from Blue Crew Studio in Temecula, California, it's the Whiskey Throttle Show, taking you inside the lives and careers of the legends and leaders of action sports. Today's guest is brought to you by Yamaha. Yamaha is the industry leader in 2- and 4-wheel fun and performance. Motocross, off-road, adventure, side-by-side, Yamaha sets the standard. Yamaha revs your heart. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by motosport.com. It doesn't matter if you like to pull a throttle cable on a dirt bike, street bike, side-by-side. Motosport.com is putting riders first with parts, gear, and accessories, including some of our partners like Troy Designs, Dunlop, Pro Circuit, and more. They offer first returns free on apparel so you can buy with confidence. And Motosport.com offers fast, free shipping on all orders over $79. Make your next ride your best ride. Visit Motosport.com. Troy Lee made a name for himself as the most elite helmet painter in all forms of motorsport racing. His ability to make a stationary object look fast is something rare. That creativity gave way to motocross and mountain bike gear, helmets, and an arsenal of protective equipment aimed at keeping racers on the track and out of a doctor's office. The 2025 TLD line is out, and it's as fast as ever. Troy Lee Designs, blending speed and style. Rockform, creators of the world's strongest magnetic phone case. They have mounts for your car, motorcycle, and bicycle, as well as universal mounts to adhere your phone to any surface. They also have screen protectors, power banks, stands, chargers, and more. And don't forget the G-Rock wireless golf speaker. Magnets adhere this powerful speaker to your cart, or any metallic surface for that matter, so you have tunes while you golf, work, or hang out. Rockform, always innovating the phone case market. Rockwell designs all their sunglasses in their U.S. headquarters in Utah. Then they are manufactured in Italy using the strictest craftsmanship standards, ensuring you get the best pair of sunglasses you've ever owned. From men's and women's designs, floatable, alloy frame, and a UV 400 rating, which blocks out 100% of UV rays, Rockwell has everything you need for you and your family. Use our code WT20 for 20% discount at checkout at rockwelltime.com. Hey everybody, welcome to the Whiskey Throttle Show. We are outside the Blue Crew studio today. We're in Arizona for what we're calling the Desert Sessions, and we're here in the very exclusive Barrel Room, and we got a great guest today. A guy that I grew up racing with a bit, a little younger than me, but our careers did intersect, and I'm excited to have him on. It's Justin Buckelew. Bucky, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ping. I appreciate you asking me to be on.
Oh yeah, man. You've been on my list for a long, long time, and you know everybody's career looks a little different, but you had a lot of success early on, and I think things probably didn't go the way they wanted long-term for you, just like me and a lot of people.
Yeah.
We have big plans, and it doesn't always work out that way. But, man, you had a really interesting career, and your involvement in moto hasn't stopped, and you've got family history and just a lot of stuff where you've been involved in a big part of the sport for a long time. So we start with our motorsport.com gate drop segment. Get everything you need over at motorsport.com, guys, and we've got a lot of cool projects coming up with them, so stay tuned for that. But get over there and check them out. I guess I want to start with just tell me what you've been up to lately, man.
Well, live out here in the Phoenix area now, and just being a family guy, raising my kids the best I can, and still coaching motocross is what I do for a full-time job, and been doing that for a long time now.
Yeah.
17, 18 years, I think, actually, so
That's
really
right.
long time, and I enjoy it still, and just a lot of fun. And
Yeah. Coaching is neat. You know, I've done quite a bit myself. I don't have as much time to do it as much as I'd like, but if I do 1 or 2 schools a year, you know, little camps, I'm pretty happy. And it's really fulfilling when there's a kid or a person, adult, I guess it could be any age, and you see something they're doing, you're like, man, you just need to fix this thing. This thing is holding you back. And they listen and they do it and they go, oh my gosh.
so much better.
Oh, it's such a cool feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like all of that, you know, you and I both have raced from the time we were, I mean, like, look at your results, but you were a pretty little guy. And it's, you know, you pick up all of these things and got to this level, and to be able to share it and watch someone implement it is really fun. You know, at least it is for me. I imagine you feel the same way.
Yeah, it's super cool, and you kind of hit it right away. Like, some of the fun of coaching is seeing kids be successful from like a racing standpoint and, you know, accomplishing a goal, top 5 or winning a race or whatever. But a lot of it is just those little things like teaching people how to do something differently that's more efficient and easier and better, or seeing them do a double for the first time. Like, the track I train at a lot up north. I have a little private track I train at in the Camp Verde area, and has a lot of doubles. And a lot of tracks now don't really have doubles anymore. I mean, a few places do, but the sport's kind of gotten away from that a little bit. And just watching kids like get the doubles for the first time and kind of that excitement that you feel. I mean, we still probably all feel it. I don't know, like if you do a jump for the first time, you're a little nervous and scared, and then you get it done, and you're like, man, that was awesome. Like
the jumps, I'm always like, I'm always hesitant to work on jumps with guys until I know the technique and some of the other. I said, let's work on corners, let's work on body positioning, let's work on braking, let's work on other things first. Because everyone, a lot of, especially the younger guys, are like, let's go do the jumps. And I'm like, just let me make sure this stuff looks good first. Because I just don't want to, I hate it when guys crash. Not that it's your fault when they crash, but it's like, I just don't want to see anybody get hurt, on my watch.
It has to be the rider's choice, right? Like, that's how I think about it, because you're the one that's taking the risk. So if someone's like forcing you into something, then that sucks, you know. So it's tough, but I agree. I mean, corners win races, right? So that's number one, and sometimes it's hard because the jumps are important, and the parents want the kids to do the jumps and stuff. So it's a little tricky sometimes, but I think just take your time, like you said, for sure.
Well, and you like what you said, I remember being a kid, and there'd be a jump. There was, you probably didn't race in Blythe, but there used to be a race there called the Kyle Fleming Memorial. Did you ever
race in Blythe? Yep.
Do you remember that jump that was up on the top section? It went across the top. It's probably changed. I'm old, dude. This is like.
Not really. So I did race the exact race you're talking about, though.
Did you?
But I was like on a 50. So like, I mean, I was on like a P-dub, so I wasn't clearing any jumps.
Well, there was a pretty, at least I remember it being pretty big. I don't know if it actually was. As a kid, it seemed big. And man, I'd get so nervous walking the track and in practice. And once you finally hit it, it was okay. But I mean, that feeling of like fear, and then like knowing you could do it and seeing other people do it, but actually like, as you're approaching it, there's that thought in your mind. And when you finally go, okay, I'm going, and then you do it. It's just such a cool feeling. And it's probably the same on skis or a snowboard. If you do a jump in the park, or it's probably real similar, right?
Yeah.
But, it's cool to watch people experience that, and what they're feeling, So anyway, I'm getting down a rabbit hole. Tell me about, the New Mexico crew, because to me it's really cool, but unexpected that there's so many good people that came out of this little pocket in New Mexico, Albuquerque area. And I'm going to miss some guys, but you have extended family too. The Johnson brothers. So Isaiah, Keith, and Kevin, Tedesco, Ivan, and Gio, Jason Anderson, yourself. I'm running out of fingers. Who else was really good out of that area?
Ryan
Clark. Of course, I'm missing Ryan. Out of this one little spot, and it's like, what the heck? And I think it probably has a lot to do with the dealership and them supporting guys, huh? I mean, what do you think?
So it's definitely an interesting story, and I've thought a lot about it, like over my life, how that all worked out, and how we were all successful from that small time frame. And like in my case, in the Johnsons' case, for sure, it was like a family thing, that started with my grandpa, and he just had a passion for motorcycles in general, and he kind of started from, it's like the American story, I guess you would say, where he kind of started from not having anything, and just worked like incredibly hard, built up the dealership from the ground up, and still going today, with my cousin Keith, and my Aunt Risa carrying it on and stuff. But yeah, my grandpa's passion for it gave us kind of the opportunity, or even more than us, like even, my Uncle Vern, my Uncle Stan, and a lot of the guys that were the parents, even like you probably know Zach White.
Yeah.
His dad, Mike White, worked for my grandpa for a while.
Oh, really?
He was a mechanic and engine builder and stuff like this too.
Zach White worked for Mitch forever, and now he's at KTM, I think. But yeah, he's been in the sport doing motors and stuff for a long time.
Yeah, so we can get into that stuff with Zach here in a little bit too when we get to that part. But basically, I grew up riding with Zach too, and there was like a whole group of us. But moto and in Albuquerque back then was small, you know. So they were into flat tracks. So like my dad, and like my mom's generation, you know, as far as like my Uncle Stan, Vern, like Mike White, you know, a ton of guys. I mean, I'm gonna miss a lot of names here this whole show because there's so many people.
Yeah, nobody get offended. There's a lot of people.
But anyway, all these guys were racing flat track, and that was like their big thing back then in their generation. And then, you know, they got us obviously started on quads and three-wheelers and dirt bikes, like, you know, little tiny guys, you know, 3 years old. I think I was on a three-wheeler or whatever.
The Tri-Zinger.
The Tri-Zinger,
started a lot of good careers.
Started on the Tri-Zinger out in the sand dunes, you know, or not really sand dunes, but Albuquerque sand dunes, sand hills, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And then transitioned to starting to race, and it was pretty funny. Like the first races that we all did was this place called Flying High, and it was in the West Mesa of Albuquerque, and it was basically a track in these people's backyard. Like they literally had like their house and maybe like 5 or 10 acres in the backyard and built a track, and they would have like Sunday races just in their backyard.
For anybody or
for
just
anybody.
mini bikes?
No, for anybody. Yeah, so like everyone would come. I mean, I don't really remember how many people were actually there. Like it's hard for me to remember that, but I clearly remember racing Flying High. And when the funny part about it was, is you would think like with, you know, Grandpa having a dealership, like we would kind of come a little more prepared, but our whole kind of crew showed up with all these like basically trail bikes and stuff, you know. Like my cousins had like these big wheel 80s. I don't know if you remember those, like the fat tire ones.
Fat tire, yeah.
And so like the first ever race, we all showed up with you know, three-wheelers and fat tire bikes and like whatever we had. And so they were like, well, you don't really fit in any of these classes. And I don't fully remember this personally, but I was told this later. So they just put us all in one moto. So we were just like, we were like our own moto out there, just racing each other.
The rejects class.
Yeah, the rejects class, exactly. So that's how we got our start. And that's one of the things I remember about Ryan Clark. That's when I first met Ryan. So
oh, really?
I've known Ryan since I was, you know, 4 years old or 5 or however old I was when this happened, probably 5. And Ryan was the cool kid because he actually had a KX60. So he had it going on. You know, he was doing it right.
So Bobby J's Yamaha, that Bobby Johnson is your grandpa?
My grandpa, yeah.
Does that dealership sell just Yamahas, or is it a multi-brand dealer?
So he was always a single line dealer. He started out with Indians, but then took on Yamaha, and then he was just Yamaha. But now since Keith's been more involved, they've taken on some other brands. Keith bought a dealership in Santa Fe recently, so there's Bobby J Santa Fe, and he's got some different brands up there. So I think he almost has like everything covered except for maybe Honda now. Okay. I think, but
yeah, Honda used to like you to be a single brand dealer. You had to just be Honda, and I think they're giving up a little bit on that. They're bending, but it is hard. And Isaiah, so
Isaiah's my second cousin.
Okay.
So basically, it's Bobby J and my grandma Shirley, and then my mom and Stan were brother and sister. Okay. That was their parents, and then their cousin was Vern Johnson, and that's Isaiah and Aaron Johnson, his dad, and my Aunt Connie. And so I don't know if you know Aaron, but this is one thing I wanted.
Know Aaron.
This is Aaron, you just don't realize you know Aaron probably, but this is the interesting thing about the whole deal is like as successful as like I was, and you know Ivan especially was the most successful, ended up being out of our generation, and I'm not related to Ivan, but he was part of our crew, you know. Yeah. And Keith and all them. The most successful was Zach and Aaron, and they went the engine builder. So Aaron's the engine builder for Kawasaki right now, and ECUs maybe.
I know Aaron. Okay.
Big guy with the beard and all that.
Yeah, I know Aaron Johnson. Okay.
So I
didn't put it together. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I don't talk to Aaron a whole bunch anymore. We need to keep in better touch, but yeah,
so
I
you're
mean, we were close
cousins.
Growing up. Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to figure out how you were all related.
How it all worked, yeah.
So Keith's running the dealership. Kevin is doing what now?
Kevin's in Houston. He's a realtor out there.
Okay.
And he owns some he's the Smoothie King now. He owns some Smoothie Kings.
Oh, yeah?
And,
the Smoothie King. That's a great nickname, too. And Isaiah's a fireman, right? Did I get that right?
So he was for a long time. and now he's working on the base at Sandia Labs, I think.
Oh,
and so I don't know exactly his role there, but yeah.
Cool. Okay, I just wanted to catch up a little bit there, and clarify, because I know you guys were all related, but I'm like, I don't really know how. And that's funny that Aaron, I know Aaron. You're right, I know him. I just didn't know he was.
So as far as like championships and stuff, like Zach and Aaron have the most.
Yeah.
I mean, not as riders, but as technicians, like they were by far the most successful of all of us. So it's pretty cool though. Like I'm proud of those guys. Like that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and they're very well respected, and you're right. They'll have longer careers than all of us.
Yeah.
Good for them. Well, that's cool. Okay. Hey, get over to WhiskeyThrottleMedia.com, guys. Lots of cool stuff over there if you haven't checked it out. Our guest today, appropriately, brought to you by Yamaha, since he is a longtime Bobby J's Yamaha guy. If you're in New Mexico area, there's no place else. Bobby J's Yamaha. Go check them out. So tell me a little bit about Albuquerque proper. Is that where you were born and raised?
Pretty much. I grew up mostly in Edgewood, actually. I think I was like maybe first grade-ish. We moved out, which is just Edgewood's just about 30 minutes east of Albuquerque on the other side of the mountains.
Okay.
But it kind of feels a little bit like a different world. It definitely like country out there, especially when I was living there. It was like a gas station town, essentially.
Okay.
So I lived in the country. We had my parents moved out there because we thought we were going to build a track. So they bought a house with like 13 acres or something like that. But it was on the side of a mountain, had a bunch of trees and stuff. And we thought, oh, we'll just clear out the trees and build a track. And we did. But it was extremely rocky.
Yeah.
And we raked rocks, and I'd ride like one day and they'd all come back. And eventually we were just like, we'll just drive somewhere. We'll just go ride somewhere else. It's too hard owning a track. Like people don't realize like maintaining a track is difficult.
Yeah.
Like shout out to all the track owners out there because it's hard.
It's a good track. You can have a crappy track pretty easy, but yeah, to make it good, and especially keeping water in it out there.
Yeah.
If you're in a dry climate. A little bit of breeze, forget it, right? Okay, so what were you into? You probably got into riding really early. Did you do anything prior to that? Any other sports or anything? Or what were you kind of up to as a kid?
Yeah, mostly just riding. I played soccer a little bit when that was kind of the other sport that I did like when I was little.
Okay.
I think I did karate a little bit, a couple things. I think I'm undefeated in karate.
I did karate, dude.
Did you?
Yeah, I was a purple belt.
There you go.
Yeah,
I gave it up way before that, It's like made it up like one belt, and I was like, okay, that's good enough. And we did, like, I'm over it.
My wife always laughs at me because my mom and sister will tell her, no, David was really good at karate. And she's like, rolls her eyes. She's like, what are you talking about, karate? I've never seen you do karate. I'm all, no, when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, I was really good. I won a state championship.
Wow.
And she rolls her eyes. And my sister will tell her stories. No, this one time he karate chopped me and it broke the buttons on my shirt. Yeah, it's funny. So what was your first? It was the Trizinger. Was your first bike? Yeah.
Yep. And then got on the P-Dub.
Okay. And this was like early because I got your Loretta's results. You went to Loretta's in '90 in the 4 to 8 class, so you're pretty young, and got second first time.
Yeah. So we started doing nationals. I think when I was 7, maybe 6. I don't know. But I know we did World Mini, and then Ponca. I don't know. We started doing it all. I mean, my parents were awesome. Like they were pretty much all in from the beginning.
Yeah. Did your dad? You said he raced flat track.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So he was a flat tracker, and
you guys just
ironically worked at the Honda dealer when he was a kid and stuff, and raced Hondas, but somehow ended up with my mom.
Yeah. Team
Yamaha camp, but
the Capulets and the Montagues. That's funny.
Anyway, it worked out. But yeah, so they supported me from the beginning, and I was pretty good from the beginning. I mean, just started kind of winning right away somehow.
Yeah.
And,
so for you guys, I mean, World Mini would have been like probably your closest.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really anything in Arizona. Like, what else would you go to? GNC in Texas, maybe, or like what else would you guys go to for big amateur stuff early?
I think we were going to pretty much all of them. Like, I don't think we went to Minios until I was older because Florida, is a bit of a stretch. But, like, Texas for sure. Whitney we started going to right away. I mean, I vividly remember going to Whitney because we had a crazy road trip there. They used to have practice the week before at Whitney. I don't know if you remember that. I'm sure you were racing there at the same time because this would have been, like you said, like 89 or 90 or something like that.
I went in 91 and 92.
Okay. So it was probably the same then, though, but they had, like, practice the week before, like earlier in the week, like open practice kind of a situation.
Yeah.
And so none of the dads could go because they're all working and stuff. So my mom took me and my cousins out there in my cousin's motorhome. So there's like a bunch of us. And we were all practicing all week. And I think we blew up almost every bike we had because, like, I don't know, probably not.
No filters.
I don't think any maintenance was being done, you know. So then the dads had to, like, bring in reinforcements and rebuild everything and stuff like that. So I do remember that. And it was like the one and only time I ever got protested in my whole life was that race. I ended up winning the P-Dub class, or it was just the 50 class back then. I won the stock class, and I can't remember about the mod, but I know I won the stock class and got protested. And I had blown up. I had like a P-Dub that was kind of like more set up, like whatever. I don't know, whatever you could do to a P-Dub.
I don't know what you do to a P-Dub.
Yeah, I don't know either, but like it was like as much as you could do, I guess, legally. And that one blew up. So my grandpa just sent a brand new one, like off the showroom floor type deal. And that's the one I raced. And
what did they think
and
was?
So they tore me down, and the guy who tore it down, I guess, told everyone, like, dude, this thing hasn't even been like torn apart before. Like this is
it's brand new.
Yeah, like it's never been apart. And then after that, nobody ever protested me that I remember. So.
Isn't it crazy that I mean, like, imagine protesting a PW class. Like, what are you doing? You know.
Well, the parents cheat, you know. So.
I guess you're right. The parents do cheat. Whatever. Okay, so when you start racing, and you were serious right away. I mean, like within the first year or two, you were going to nationals.
Yeah, we were going to nationals right away. But I guess to answer your question, I didn't really answer it properly. But we raced in Texas a lot. We raced in Colorado. Like even to this day, Colorado is kind of underrated almost for motocross because they have like a lot of races up there. And when I was a kid, it was the same way. They had races every weekend, it seemed like. And then we'd go to California a lot. So my parents just had to travel. And kind of in line with your question about like this group of us that became successful from like a place where moto was not popular, not big. Like we didn't even have a track. Like we had that flying high place, but that was like not really. I mean, we couldn't ride there or anything. That was like a once every other month they had like this backyard race thing. But we rode in the desert. But my dad always said, I think part of what helped you is like traveling everywhere and racing all the local kids on their tracks. So it's like we were always going to race some local race, but not our local race. It's like their local race. And then I was talking to my cousin about this before I came on actually, and he's like, like our parents started Morardi, so you probably heard of Morardi MX.
That's what I was going to ask about, because I thought that's like the big track out there right now.
Yeah, so, and it's kind of been the main track in New Mexico forever, and still is kind of.
But that wasn't around when you
It wasn't there, no. So my parents and grandparents and uncles and Rick Alcon and a bunch of guys got together and bought that property and built a track, and like, because they were like, we're tired of like driving to California to race, like we're just gonna have our own track. But I think they quickly realized that same thing is like my dad. I could remember like we'd have a race weekend, my dad would be out there, come home from work Friday straight to the track, gotta work on the track, water and ripping all that stuff, trying to get it ready for the race weekend and stuff. And I think he realized, hey, maybe it wasn't so bad just driving to California. It was
a lot easier just sitting in the car. And, it's crazy what our dads did, what dads are still doing, to get kids to these things. And I don't know that you'll appreciate it. I mean, obviously you and I do now. We can look back and see the money they spent, the time they spent. I don't know how my dad took all that time off work, It's like you're saying, oh, yeah, the week before the Nationals practice, come out a week early. It's like, well, who can do that?
And now it's even a lot worse. Like, those people live on the road.
Yeah, they're living in camps. Like, they just pick up and, okay, we're going to live at this practice facility.
Yeah, like the mom and the kid live at one place and the dad lives somewhere else. It's like the dedication's crazy. Like, moto parents are gnarly. For sure.
I thought you were going to say nuts. But
yeah, well.
Maybe a little both.
They're dedicated.
They are.
No, I appreciate my moto parents. So
totally,
I'm not saying bad, but I'm like you and I are soccer dads. Way easier.
Yeah.
Way easier than moto parent.
Yeah. No, listen, no disrespect. Like I said, my parents were amazing. I'm sure it sounds like yours were, driving you all over the country. And I think you're right, man. Like when you can get comfortable in places where you're uncomfortable, other kids' home tracks. Because if you came to my local track in Arizona, Canyon Raceway I was tough to beat. It's how I got my first ride. Was a Loretta's qualifier, and Craig Decker and Damon Huffman and these guys came over and I beat them. And the Suzuki guy was like, dude, there's this kid out in the desert. It's like fast. We need to help him out. If I went to Glen Helen, they wax me, right? But at my track, so you were going to these kids' tracks and having to race, which elevated your level, You got comfortable in different tracks, different conditions.
I think so, because there was a kid I would go to Oklahoma and Texas and have to race Johnny Marley. And Johnny's like, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's pretty underrated for like what a good rider he was, and probably still is or whatever. But he was difficult for me to beat, like at his tracks, and everywhere. But and then California, I had the California kids out there. There's kind of a bunch of them, but like Billy Payne and Danny Carlson and
who
later Gossler.
Who else was kind of
these guys?
Some of the kids you had to compete with in your age group as you went through.
So my toughest competitors was Pastrana and Fonseca for sure. Those were the guys that sometimes had me kind of one-upped, but I only raced them at Mini-O's and Loretta's pretty much. Like they didn't really come to World Mini. Pastrana came to Ponca a few times, I think, but they didn't come to the West Coast that much. So I only raced them on the East Coast, so it wasn't that often. But yeah, I never raced them like locally. I mean, obviously Ernesto, like I don't know, he probably raced in Florida a lot, but a lot of time he wasn't even in the country. So
he was being flown over by Kodak a lot to Florida. You remember that? He'd show up in all that Kodak gear.
Yeah, so Mini-O's was the first time that I saw him. Was racing him at Mini-O's when he had the Kodak gear. That gear was sick, but
it was sick.
We had a lot of battles.
Did you?
Yep.
Yeah, Ernie was a stud. He was really good. I mean, obviously, so was Travis.
Yep. And
was there anybody
with Travis
who was helping you kind of grow as a rider, or was it just all of you kids riding together kind of helped each other? Or was there anybody coaching really?
Yeah. So my parents took me to a few schools early on. I did like the Tony D school thing, and I think Bob Hanna might have been at that one or one of the ones I did, which was super cool. And then I did some Steve Wise schools, and I actually really like Steve.
Yeah, Steve's great.
And that was pretty cool. And that was like one of my first introductions. Maybe not introductions, not the right word, but Steve had an impact on my faith, and could kind of get into talking about that later. But I ended up doing a Donnie Hansen school, and Donnie was the guy that I really clicked with, and I liked Donnie. And so we had done a few schools, and I kind of seen, what it was about. And back then was different than how the coaching is now, or at least like how I coach and a lot of the other people. It was more like schools, right? Like those guys traveled the country, putting on like a certain program, teaching you certain things, But I like Donnie a lot, and so I told my parents, like, it's the guy I want to work with. And then they got me some private lessons with him, different things. I used to go, and he ended up moving. He lived in Sacramento, and then they ended up moving to Colorado, which worked out perfect because I used to go stay at their house, Colorado Springs, and do the camps and stuff.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time with Donnie, and he helped me a lot. So just his style of riding, and he's super laid back, and his style of coaching and stuff, I just liked it. I didn't like the like being pushed, Like I did a lesson, like, and this dude, he was a great dude, but I did a lesson with Marty Smith, and he was like a push you.
Oh, really?
Guy, at least when I was there, and I was just like, no, this is not for me, But,
what about Gary Bailey? I never did one of his schools, but they say it would hit you with a stick if you didn't have your finger on the right place. And
yeah. So what schools did you do schools during that time? Or?
The first one I ever did was Russ Darnell. This was late '80s. He was a good local pro in Southern California, but he had a really cool camp set up there, a week-long camp. And so I went and did that. And then I did the Bob Hanna. I think it was a Tony D school. If you bought a Suzuki, you got this free school, right?
Yep.
and Bob was the special guest. And I told Bob when I had him on the show, I said, there's a couple of things you taught me that I still teach, you know,
That's
like
cool.
it's crazy. And then a lot of it was just, you know, I tried to just glom onto the local guys, Jimmy Button, Jimmy Gaddis, Sean Kalos, all the guys here who were so good.
So you had like a really good group that you grew up with too.
Well, that's why the thing from Albuquerque interests me, because here in Arizona, I had, you know, Robert Naughton. I don't know if you remember that name,
Yeah.
but second in the championship in '87, I think, in Supercross. Great rider. Yeah, you had Kalos, you had Button, you had Gaddis, you had Brian Bruner, who's a little lesser known name.
I know Brian.
Dre Dirks and his brother Gary were both really good. He tested for Honda for years. Anyway, there was a lot of good dudes coming out here. And so you could just, you know, we were friends with their families. And so if I had a question, or I would just study them, you know, what are they doing? How are they doing that? What lines are they taking? And, you know, for me, being able to watch, I'm a visual learner. So it's why when I coach, I try to ride with the guys. Go, hey, watch how I do this. Look where I sit, you know. And then to me, if I can watch it, I can duplicate it, right? Or at least try better to duplicate it. If someone just tells me something, I'm like, maybe it clicks, maybe it doesn't. But that was always how I tried to learn, was just copying people.
Yeah, and you had some good guys to
guys.
chase
Yeah.
and look up to, and it kind of elevates the bar, I think, too, like seeing what they're doing and like makes you like want to achieve more, maybe.
Well,
but,
that's and I think that happened for you guys. If there had only been two of you or whatever, I don't think any of you would have got to the level you did. It was like you all were racing against each other, and it rises the tide for everybody.
So that was the thing for sure. Before we move on from the trainers, I worked with Dennis Hawthorne a little bit too. I don't know if you remember Dennis.
Five-time arena cross champ,
yeah,
right?
so I want to bring up Dennis just because, like you said, you remember a couple of things Bob taught you. Like, I did this private training with Dennis one time, and there was a rut turn in Texas we were doing, and just that was like the day that I felt like I learned like how to do ruts, basically, like how to balance and time, how you're leaning and getting on the gas and all this stuff. It just kind of clicked for me. But thanks, Dennis. But yeah, Donnie was my main guy. But really, my main person getting to the Albuquerque kind of secret, partially was my mom. So my mom was just like a straight up athlete. Like she could just kind of do whatever kind of a person.
Okay.
For the most part. A couple things she had some trouble with. Snowboarding, not the greatest. Anyway, for the most part she could, but she was just like really good at structuring our practices and like keeping at least me focused, and like she's definitely the hardest on me, which ended up taking a toll on us later on, but she was like 100% half the reason for my success, I would say, at least, you know.
Kind of like Jeannie Carmichael, just
kind of a Jeannie Carmichael, and that's partially where she got it from, actually, is so this is how intense my parents were and dedicated and stuff, is like we used to a couple of winters they would leave, we would do the Golden State. So they got tired of driving back and forth. So they like one winter they left our box van at the Ontario airport, which is not what it is now, but it was like the little airport.
Yeah.
But still, I remember my dad stressing all week. He's like, "Oh man, I hope your bikes are there when we get back." And so we like flew home, went to school and work, flew back, whatever. So after a year of that, they were like, I was homeschooled in 6th grade, and they're like, you know what, you and mom should go to Florida for like winter AMs. So we went and lived in our box van and like people's guest rooms and couches and stuff that invited us for like 2 months in Florida racing winter AMs. And anyway, we got invited to go ride at Ricky with Ricky. And so we spent like a week with the Carmichaels and stuff.
What year would that have been ish?
It was maybe like 94.
Okay.
Something like that, 95.
So he was on mini bikes still.
He was still on an 85 or an 80.
But ripping.
He was at the top of like his 80 career at the time, and I was kind of like the next guy behind him. And next class down too. I mean, younger class.
So
we learned a lot from that, and and Jeannie was really intense, like super sweet, but you know, exactly what you hear. You know, she's just really intense, and I still tell kids to this day like the 10 times perfect thing. So she had this thing like where
I lived it.
Oh, you lived it already?
Well, Ricky and I were teammates in '97.
Okay.
And so he would come out and on McGrath's old track. Do you remember his Supercross track right off the 215?
Mm-hmm. I got to ride there a couple times.
Well, between the Supercross track and where his outdoor track was, there was a rut track, and it was I don't know 10, 12 turns, but long ruts and sweepy stuff, and then a couple tight ones, and I had to do it 10 times perfect. And dude, sometimes I'd be there forever. I'm like, Jeannie, I got to 8. Well, should have done 2 more. Yeah. I mean, she did not give an inch, dude.
So that happened to me. We were at this sand pit place one day, and there was like this sand turn. And granted, I'm little now, right? I mean, I was tiny. Like at this point, I'm like 12 years old on an 80 or whatever. I'm tiny, and there's this sand berm, and like we're doing the 10 times perfect, and we're there for however long, and Ricky gets his. And I'm trying to do mine, and you can't dab, you can't bog, you can't, And so then I start trying to play it cautious, not to dab my foot, and then she's like, too slow, start over, And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm there forever, and usually I don't even tell this part of the story, but Ricky's off messing around, and because he's done with the section, right? Yeah. So apparently he got to go like play ride or whatever, and I'm there hitting this turn with Jeannie. And he's doing this jump. Well, he like crashes, and Jeannie's like, "Go check on him or whatever." So I go over there and ride on him, and he's getting up, and he's like, "Don't tell my mom! Don't tell my mom!" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She already knows you crashed. I was trying to do a knack.
Oh, no way!
And he was trying to do a knack, got his foot caught, and he's like, "Just don't tell my mom. Just tell her, whatever." I can't remember. So yeah, he probably doesn't remember that, but it was funny. I didn't tell her till now. Now she knows.
Oh man,
now she knows, but I think she'll be all right with it, Ricky. I hope. But
yeah, I think it worked out. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I finally got the 10, I guess, or I don't even remember, to be honest. But my mom saw how Jeannie did it, and then we kind of like when we got home from that. At first, it was not good. Like we were fighting because she was trying to kind of do the Jeannie Carmichael. And it was not working, and then we figured out, we kind of talked it out and figured out like a happy medium that worked for us, and we did a lot of lap times. Like I responded good to lap times and timing segments and stuff like that, and I was more happy with that than her telling me if it was I have a big problem with my mom telling me that was good or not good in that turn, so if it was all timed, then it was like, well, here's what the stopwatch said. So then my mom started a thing like the stopwatch doesn't lie. That's kind of what we always said. The stopwatch doesn't lie. So
yeah, that's good. That's super interesting. Yeah, because I think, and I know Ricky, had those feelings deep down. He might not have voiced them to Jeannie, but it's like, he would say stuff to me when we'd go, because he would lie to her a bit. When this is early days, right? His rookie season. I went and stayed with him for a while, and he would be like, okay, Mom, yeah, we're going to the gym. We're going to do legs. We're going to work on legs tonight. And we'd roll out of the driveway, and I'm thinking we're going. I'm like, okay, we're going to the gym. And he's like, we're not going to the gym. We're going to go buy a CD, and then we're going to go to Sonny's Pit Barbecue and get a sweet tea. I'm like, okay, all right, So, but he would get really mad when same thing. He's like, how does she know? What, she doesn't ride. How does she know? Why does she do it? He'd say that kind of stuff.
I'm sure they had a lot of things, but I'm sure he also credits a lot of his success to her too.
100%. So. It's just hard in the moment.
It's really hard. It's better if you have a coach or someone else to do that besides a parent, for sure.
Yeah, and you see that, I'm sure, with soccer, even with your kids. I know I do. If I say something, and listen, I try to tell my kids, she'll drink a Red Bull before a game, and I'm like, if you want caffeine, you want something to pick you up, I have other things that are better. That have caffeine, you'll still feel that, but you aren't going to crash, and it doesn't have all the crap in it. Dad, this is what I do. Just leave me alone. You don't know. And I'm like, oh, I don't know? Oh, okay. But if her coach says it, hey, Dad, Coach said I should be drinking Red Bulls. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I'm going to lose my mind. And this isn't, I think every parent goes through it. You don't want to hear it from your parents. Yeah, it's you. Your parent can tell you something 1,000 times. You hear it from somebody else, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. It's a parent, you just want to freak out, right? But, yeah, I think it's a lot easier for a rider to listen to someone else.
Yep.
So parents,
be careful.
Yeah, just, Don't frustrate yourself.
It's hard to hear stuff from your parents. It sounds twice as harsh coming from your parent as it would from anyone else.
Yeah. I don't know why that is. You think you would trust your parents more than someone else, but I guess when you're a teenager, you're just kind of an idiot. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. I think I was. All right, so let's talk about your Loretta's run, because you did, I think, 4 titles you had at Loretta's?
Yep.
85, 12 to 13, 85, 14 to 15, 2 titles there, 3 titles there in that class. And then
yeah, all 85 stuff.
Yeah, you were
I actually won 5 sort of, but technically 4.
Oh wait, dude, I missed this page. Your first time was 89.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, you were a little buddy. 4 to 8, 51cc stock. So
yeah, a lot of seconds. Loretta's was the hardest one for me to win by far because of how the track is. I mean, it was a lot more hard pack back then than it is now, but like it was not what I was used to.
Yeah.
It's like East Coast dirt, sticky.
And mud. You'd always get mud.
Yep. So
were you okay in the mud? Or?
Humidity.
Yeah.
So yeah, Loretta's was hard to win. I mean, I won it at like 13 or something, but I would won everything else by the time I finally won Loretta's,
Yeah.
like multiple times. I mean, World Mini was my best because it was windy and hard pack. So I was like a windy and hard pack guy. I mean, that's Albuquerque, windy and hard pack. So like World Mini was
home.
Was the place for me. I mean, I dominated there. Ponca, I was always really good at Ponca because same thing. Ponca's ruddy and soft and tacky and stuff, but like by the end of the week back then,
it would get harder.
Like, there was always runoffs back then, like there was so many riders that you had divisions all week.
Yeah.
And the last day you'd have the runoffs, and by Sunday afternoon they'd kind of be over it, I guess, or whatever. The track would get hard packed, and then I'd be locked in and win all the runoffs.
I liked Ponca. I thought that track was a good track to race on.
I liked Ponca a lot. So yeah, Loretta's those obviously the premier one now. Then I think Ponca was almost even. I felt like in the 90s, like it was close. Like Ponca was a big deal back then.
It was probably mid to late 90s maybe where it started kind of shifting and Ponca fell off.
Yeah. Loretta's became the one.
And now it's almost happening where the SMS X Next and the Combines, I think those probably carry more weight than even Loretta's.
Probably. For getting a pro ride, I mean.
Yeah. So
you would think that would be the deal, but
it's interesting to watch the change. So I made a big mistake, and I was curious how you handled this because you won a lot of titles at Loretta's. Anytime it would rain in Arizona, we don't have a lot of mud, and we don't even have, no matter how much it rains, the kind of mud that's back there, that sticky, goopy stuff. But if the track got overwatered or if it rained, I would wait till the conditions were good. I'd be like, I'll let the other guys go out. I'll wait a little bit, and that was a mistake. I look back and go, man, I should have gotten out in the mud. I wish my dad would have made me, or
Yeah, no, I rode in bad weather.
You did?
In the rain, all that. Yeah.
Was that your mom making you?
Probably both.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty driven. I like to win. I realized I like to win pretty early, so I was pretty driven to train and be prepared and be ready to win. But
so
I didn't ride in the mud though, because the same as Arizona, like there almost is mud. Like it rains, it's good.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, Morardi is like almost unrideable in the mud. Like if it rains at Morardi, it's
gumbo. What does it get? Like
like slime.
Sticky? Oh.
No, like slime. Like
like,
and it fills with water because it's a pit. But yeah, so that's a different thing. But riding in the desert in Albuquerque when it rains is awesome. It's probably like some of the best riding probably in the world. I mean, it's awesome. But
it's the same thing here. I would talk more about like a local practice track when they put heavy water on. It's like, man, I should have went out. I should have been the first guy out there.
Yep.
Get used to just how it feels and stuff, and I didn't.
Ride in the mud, yeah. So I thought I was a good mud rider, and I was a good mud rider. Actually, a Loretta's story. I mean, like 97 was like my best every year. I pretty much peaked in 97 my whole career, I guess. Like 15 years old, that was the peak of my career.
Okay.
Peaked a little early. But, like Pastrana, Fonseca, a lot of them dudes had already moved up to 125s. So I was still on an 80 because I was short. And there were still fast guys to race, of course, know. But it wasn't my normal guys. Like, they had all moved up. And so I think I literally won every single race I raced in 97, like everywhere. And it rained.
Is that
it
the
rained
year?
at Loretta's.
Oh.
I think it was 97, maybe it was 96. Anyway, it was either 96 or 97, and it rained like horribly at Loretta's. They had to like cancel the racing for the day type of rain.
Oh, man.
One of those ones, you know, like we're shutting it down. This place is underwater. And so then, you know, I was pretty stressed because I was like the one thing that could derail my title, basically. Yeah. And one funny thing about that moto is, so they shortened the track. So there's kind of like an asterisk to this whole story because they shortened the track because it was so muddy. Like they cut out part of the track. But one of the funny parts about the story is my mom put this. You remember ZLT back plates for chest protectors? Yeah. So I used to run those, and she put one of the back plates like on my helmet. It was like this giant like wing with my number because she was so worried they weren't going to be able to score me properly, right? Because it was that muddy, you know, like, and really by the end you couldn't see most of the bikes or numbers or anything.
And this is pre-transponder days too.
Yeah. So it's like tough. So but I got out there, and on the fast straightaways, this thing was like pulling my head. I'm like, oh gosh, I wish I like tried ripping it off, you know, in the middle of the moto. But so that mud race, I ended up winning, and I was so focused. I had a bad habit. I would look over my shoulder a lot, you know, because I'd get out front, get pretty big lead, and kind of just manage where I was. And it ended up being a really bad habit. And later, it's like a problem for me. But then it worked fine. But I remember that race. I didn't even try looking around because like it was that sketchy. Just try not to crash, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to keep it on two wheels.
Yeah.
And so.
Plus, you got a wing on your head if you
plus
turn.
Plus, I got a wing. Yeah, it would have ripped me right off the bike if I turned my head. So I was just charging because like I was so worried like someone was behind me or something, you know. So I was just as fast as I could the whole race. Well, I get done, and apparently I lapped the whole field except for one rider. So I lapped up to like third place.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so it was crazy.
In the mud, huh?
So I felt like I was a good mud rider at that point, but that was also I was pretty dominant at that point. But then fast forward Mount Morris, my rookie year, you were there, 2000 Mount Morris. You remember?
I remember.
And I was like, man, I'm probably pretty good in the mud. Like, I'm going to do good. And almost had a good day. Anyway, that was a different part of the story. But Kelly Smith, I think, won, right?
Oh, yeah. That was his only win. That's
his
right. His
only win, right? But even, like, the other guys like Mike Brown and whoever, I don't even know, whoever it was, like, they were on, like, such a different level than any of us. And I was like, okay, this is what a real mud rider. So, like, a real mud rider, they can go the same speed almost in the mud. Like, they're close to their same speed as when it's good somehow. So, that was not me. I could just make it around without crashing, you know. Yeah. That was, like, my specialty.
Well, and I think, too, on a mini bike, you were probably bigger on the mini bike, so you could kind of manhandle it a little bit and have more control of it. On a bigger bike...
little guy on a big bike. It's not great.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
The 97 Mount Morris was even worse than 2000.
Was it really?
There was rivers running through that bottom. I mean, just.
Oh, I think I saw that on TV. I remember
Bradshaw won. Remember, it was like, I think his last win ever.
Oh, yeah. When he was on the Honda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But not far. I mean, a little bit worse than 2000, but not much. That place, when it rains, is terrible. Terrible. So, and that's mud to me, and I'm like, I'm no good in this.
The worst mud race I've ever been, though, did you race Millville in 06?
Nope.
No.
I was done.
So, Millville 06, that was crazy.
I was the announcer for TV for that. Yeah. I got to sit in a nice booth and call it.
So
You're right. That was gnarly.
I got like 9th or 10th that moto, which was a really good result for me. So back to I'm okay mud rider, but I got lapped by Ricky twice. So I got like 9th or 10th, and I got lapped by Ricky twice. And that was a crazy experience. But
he lapped everybody.
But it was definitely like tortoise in the hair for me because I was just not crashing, and I was getting past. Like, I tell people this is like one of my best battles with James Stewart that I ever had. Probably my only battle with James Stewart I ever had. He would go blowing past me, like wide open, swapping all over, and then like a lap or two later, he'd be laying in the ground, and I'd
creep by.
Right. And then a couple laps later, he'd go blowing past me, and then crash, and then creep by. So yeah, we had a race-long battle.
Did you beat him?
I don't fully remember, to be honest. I think so, but I don't know.
Yeah,
you'd
have to look at the results.
You'd have to look it up, but
battled with James. That's
my
awesome.
epic battle with James Stewart.
He doesn't even know he was. You should tell him about it sometime. Hey, remember that battle at Millville we had?
The other funny part about that story is the first moto I actually hole shot, and I have a really cool picture of me and James
really?
like in the first turn. And then my clutch went out on the very first like basically the first lap. Like I'm pretty positive the Hondas had two engine oil things back
separate,
then. Yeah, separate or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that I did not have oil in my clutch side, I think, but I don't know. They say no, but whatever. So the clutch just immediately like went out. I made it like a lap.
Jeez.
Which is, I'm not a clutcher, so
yeah, that's
it's kind of weird, but something weird happened. So I was last pick for the second moto, and then that downpour came and everything. But it ended up being a blessing because I don't know if you've seen the videos of like everyone being stuck on that hill.
Yeah.
And so I was like way in the back, right? Well, this guy ahead of me just like, we come down that hill before the U-turn to go up the big hill.
Uh-huh.
And he just kind of goes, like everyone's already stuck, you know, like we could see that like 10 people are stuck. So we just like go off, he goes off in the grass and like we go to the outside of the track and then we just like squared it up and crossed the track and got to the other side and passed like 20 people in one straightaway, and it was cool. So I went from like,
that was your best pass.
I went
ever,
from
maybe.
like 30th to 10th. Yeah.
Dude, I remember watching, and I think it might have been James and maybe Reed. I was like, some of the best riders in the world were stuck, and the camera, we're just on that hill, and I'm like, this is like a circus. I said, man, we need to play that like, you know, clown car music, you know what I mean, or Benny Hill or something. It was crazy to see guys of that level who could not even make it up this little hill.
Yep.
You know, and DV gets up it, and he's like fist pumping when he made it up.
Yeah, when Reed and Villeman are getting stuck in the mud, like it's bad.
It's bad. It's really bad. Was there a point, you know, maybe it was this, you said you kind of felt early like you were competitive, you wanted to win. What point in your career did you think like, okay, I can make a career out of this. I can be a pro. I mean, when did that kind of become reality for you?
Super early.
Like 60s? Like how early?
Not quite that early, probably. So like, my parents, and obviously my parents supported me the whole time, but I didn't have, you know, like any factory support until 80s. And so this is kind of an interesting story that I could share real quick is like goes in anyhow, Yamaha redid their 80 in 93. Okay. So like they're like 89, 90, 91, 92. YZ80 was like old and outdated, not good. So they redid their bike. So I was racing 60s at Loretta's, and I think I was only maybe 10, I guess. So I wasn't at the top of the class yet. And I have a December birthday, so I was never like one of those kids that was racing a year down. You know, I'm like always the age I was, that's the class I was in. Yeah. And anyhow, I got second that year because I wouldn't do this one jump. I wouldn't do that middle camelback jump thing. And I think it was Matt Walker, I'm pretty sure, ended up winning. And he was jumping that jump, and like it was like third moto kind of deal. And he'd jump the jump, pull away, I'd catch him, he'd jump the jump. And so my parents weren't that happy with me. It's one of those things where they're like, do the jump, you know, like how parents, I see it all the time now as a coach. But I experienced it as a rider. And so then I think I got second that year. And then at the very end of the week, they had this, and I was racing 80s that year too on Cowies, but I didn't have Team Green support or anything. And but we were racing Cowies just because you had to on 60s, and I don't know why we got because the Yamaha 80 was terrible, so my parents got me a Cowie. So Yamaha had this demo thing, and they picked a few kids to do this demo race. So they were like at the jetting loop at Loretta's, they were demoing these new Yamaha 80s. You could like ride around in a circle or whatever. Well, the end of the week, they did this like special race, like almost kind of like a Race of Champions vibe kind of thing. But the problem was they were having trouble getting a lot of the top kids because they were Team Green guys back then. So the Team Green kids weren't allowed to do it. So they had to take like kids that weren't Team Green kids, you know, basically, or maybe Factory Suzuki like yourself or whatever. I don't know. But you were already moved on at this point, big bikes probably or something. Yeah. But anyway. So I got picked to do this race, and my parents were like, yeah, we'll stay and do it, blah, blah, blah. And so I hole shot this thing. I'm like 10, and it's kids. It's all ages. It's like
So it's 15-year-olds.
Yeah. So it's like all the classes. So I hole shot this deal, and then I get passed by a couple guys, and then I just feel good on this bike. Like I just instantly liked this. Just a stock.
Yeah.
Never ridden it before in my life. I start jumping that freaking jump.
No way.
Yeah. So I do the jump in the race, and then I end up getting third in this Yamaha race, and I remember my parents were kind of like pissed after. Like they were like happy. They're like, well, you got third. All these kids, there's like 20 kids or something, but they're like good kids. They didn't pick the back markers, They picked good riders. And anyhow, so they're excited, but they're like, are you kidding me? Like you couldn't have done that jump like 4 days ago at the beginning of the week, like what is your problem? So, yeah, I don't know. That's just a funny story. But I think that's how I got my Yamaha ride. And then to answer your question, once I got the Yamaha ride, and I had already been winning and stuff, and I remember my parents, like, telling me, like, hey, you're good at this. Like, if you apply yourself and you take this serious, I'm like 10 years old, 11 maybe. I guess I was 11. So I got off 60s a year early to ride for Yamaha because I couldn't ride 60s for them. And so I remember my parents saying, like, if you start, like, taking this serious, like, you could be a pro. Like, you could do this, And so I remember, like, 11 just being like, that's it. I'm doing it. I'm locking in.
That's early. Like, that's really early, I think.
Yeah. No, it is. I don't know. It's just the way it was. So I started, like, working out and running, all this crap, like, pretty early.
That's wild, man. And it was paying off. I mean, you were winning on an 80. Like I said, you were winning everything,
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of crush it throughout your amateur career on a mini bike. You had factory Yamaha help then.
Mm-hmm.
Was R&D, was Dean doing your bikes?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
he was good, man.
Dean was sick.
He's still good, yeah.
Did you have Dean's motors on the Suzukis?
No, but I don't know how big our age. How old are you?
43.
Yeah, you might not remember this, but when I was a kid, went to my first World Mini in like 85. The old Vegas World Mini, out in the desert. And Dean had like Buddy Antonez, Jimmy Gaddis. He was the factory Suzuki guy, and those bikes were unreal, just rockets. And he would do this thing where he'd have the bike on the stand and warm it up, and he'd put it in like fourth or fifth gear, and put his foot on the brake and go, and then like load it with the brake. And he'd warm everything up, but also like he could tell if it was going to pop or whatever. He could kind of get a better sense of the jetting. And I would go just sit there, and he wore this white jumpsuit. Like, I don't know. It was just like this whole thing right now. Like, this is so wild to me. But he just really impressed me from that age. And so we've gotten to be friends now, and he does some project stuff for us. But I think I remember him telling me that he built bikes for you back then. They had to be good.
Oh, they're so good. I mean, I had an unfair advantage, and that's part of the overall story of my career that we're about to get to. But my parents and Dean had me on such a good program. Like, becoming a pro in some ways was almost a step down, honestly. Like, that's like how good my stuff was in my program. Like, I was just had an advantage over everyone. My parents would fly Dean to the races later on, like during the kind of peak of my amateur career.
Oh, really?
To work on my bikes and stuff and do the foot drag thing. Yeah.
Oh, so you saw it?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. He'd do that before every moto.
Yeah.
I mean, there was even a race. I was just telling someone this the other day, but it was one year at Ponca. Dean would, and I don't know how much stories he told when he was on the show, but I'll have to listen and watch. But he was taking my chain off between races, right? Because, like, you know how Ponca, the Nationals are. You race, like, twice a day, right?
Yeah.
Well, once on each bike or whatever. So he was, like, taking my chain off, cleaning my chain and stuff, like, all this, getting it perfect, getting it so the wheel would just, like, spin free. And then he wouldn't let me ride it, like, because back then I think there was pit riding still, I think, maybe. But he was real anal about, like, don't do a side lap, just push your bike to the line, because he wanted, for the start, he wanted, like, zero drag on the wheel. And it was just another level, you know. But he's like, look, you're the best guy here. Like, the only thing that's going to mess us up is you not getting a good start. Like, you got to get the start, so.
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He's very meticulous that way. So
yeah, so it was cool.
That's wild.
But yeah, he had my bikes dialed, so.
Yeah. Okay, so talk about you. What year did you bump to big bikes? Looks like
98.
98.
Yep.
Okay.
So
How did that go?
Not well.
No?
No.
Were you small still?
I was small, and this was like the beginning of issues for me. Is I broke my wrist at Loretta's that year, and
Yeah, it doesn't even show you at Loretta's in 98.
oh yeah, so I didn't go then, but I broke my wrist at Loretta's in 97. I fractured it. I went over the bars in the 10 Commandments doing this triple that I didn't even need to do, but just whatever. And I didn't know I broke my wrist at the time, and I actually finished out the week and ended up winning 2 championships, but went home and like my wrist is still killing me, and so it was just a fracture. It wasn't like, but still, I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty gnarly. I feel like I was pretty tough back then to be able to do that. I don't know if I could do that now, but so then I was in a cast, and then we shouldn't have went to Minios, honestly. Like my bikes weren't ready, and Dean was doing my suspension back then too, and motors. And we didn't really have time to test or anything, and we didn't have my suspension dialed in, but I was just like so focused on moving forward and like the next step and everything, and just wanted to go to Minios, so we just like kind of rushed it and went.
What classes were you riding?
So I was riding 125B, stock and mod.
Okay.
And so I was back to racing Pastrana and Fonseca now, because they had already moved up, but they hadn't moved up to A class yet. So they already had like a year of B class under their belt, So, and maybe Ernesto moved up to A class, because I don't remember racing him that year. So maybe he was moving up at Minios and Pastrana stayed down in B or something like that.
Okay.
But I battled Pastrana like all week. Like we traded wins and stuff, and I think I was actually winning more than him, to be honest. But in motocross, one of the races, it started raining, and the back sweeper at Gatorback, like you used to step down the hill and you do that back sweeper.
Yep.
And I remember I switched from the inside to the outside, and it just started like railing that outside, standing up. And I don't even remember what happened, because I don't know if I got knocked out or just kind of like blacked out, but I swapped and hit that fence, and it like shattered my leg. And so I had never really I had broken my wrist like twice, but both times were like fractures.
Yeah.
And I like shattered my tib fib, but I mean, we're talking like I still got a bump on it,
Wow.
to this day. And so anyway, I had never experienced pain like that before. So that was my first like real experience in that level of pain.
Yeah.
And then that whole thing ended up being a bad deal, to where the doctors there didn't want to do the surgery, so they like sent me back to Albuquerque like that, and like kind of wrapped it up sort of, but it was not stable. And so it was like a long drawn out like 2 weeks of pain before I ever finally got that thing like taken care of.
Jeez.
So that was a bummer. So that kind of like was like the first kind of crack in my confidence, sort of, I think. So
yeah, the first big injury you have, it's kind of like you realize that it comes into perspective, like how dangerous what we're doing is. Because before that, it's like you don't even think about it. You're invincible. And all of a sudden you go, oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So up to that point, I could kind of had the mindset, like, do whatever it takes to win kind of mindset, And then after that, I think that started to change a little bit. So that was like the first thing that kind of took me down a notch a little bit, was that injury. But I was still super motivated to come back, and it took forever to heal.
Was it like mid shaft? It didn't mess with your ankle or anything?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, just middle. Like, you wouldn't think it would be that bad of an injury. Like a ton of people break their leg, like tib fib, but it just was. Like, I can't really explain why. Just the way the break was. And so I ended up finally coming back, and the doctor I had in Albuquerque was like, oh, you got to take, I had a rod but screws. He's like, you got to take this out, whatever. So I'll try to speed up this story. We're taking forever. But anyhow, I ended up re-breaking my leg. So
after you got the
rod
out?
After that, yeah. So then I had to redo the surgery and all this stuff. And so that whole year was kind of shot, honestly. Like, I raced a little bit, but I didn't race very much in the B class. So then you would think that I would just be like, okay, now we're going to do B class. But no, I was like, I'm going to move up to the A class. So
Are you still with Yamaha support all
yeah,
this time?
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm still at Yamaha. So then we move up to the A class. And at this point, I actually switched to pro circuit. So my reasoning behind that was I realized suspension was going to be like a big thing for me. And Dean and the other guy he had helping him did a good job with my suspension, like was good, but like it wasn't his specialty, right? And so I wanted bones basically.
Yeah.
And so I switched to pro circuit to be able to work with Bones, and my agreement was Bones was going to test with me and stuff, and he did, and was awesome. And like Bones is the man.
Yeah.
And so that was great. But shoot, I
So this would have been 99?
yeah, this was 99.
Yeah.
So then I raced A class in 99, and I did good. I won Texas National in the A class. I don't think I won World Mini. I think I got crashed and kind of hurt myself. We ended up going home early, World Mini maybe. But then
But you was Pastrana. You were still racing Pastrana then too that year, right? Because he end of '99 was his first Supercross.
Yeah, so I was still racing Pastrana. I don't think he was in Texas though.
Okay.
I was racing like Ivan and like Josh DeMuth and like dudes like that in Texas, I think.
Okay.
Fast guys still.
Yeah.
So I won Texas, and then I ended up dislocating my shoulder, which I had done it before actually. So I say my first worst injury. I had dislocated my shoulder on 80s too, but it just like popped right back in. It like wasn't even a big deal. So I dislocated my shoulder before regionals, and had to go to the hospital and the whole deal. And then so I ended up racing regionals, and if I'm remembering this right, this is crazy, but like we went to regionals, and I'm pretty sure there like was only like 4 guys or 5 guys in the A class or something. So I was able to just go, like, that never happens, right? But like somehow I just like went around, kind of rode around, and still qualified for Loretta's.
Okay.
So I go to Loretta's, and I was supposed to do the whole after Loretta's national thing.
Yeah.
And
What was your deal with Yamaha at the time?
so
Like, had you had talks about Yamaha Troy and?
So not really. So at this point, I was kind of like the poster boy for Yamaha. I mean, I used to do their ads.
Literally.
I used to help them do testing,
Yeah.
the videos. Like a lot of people have seen those embarrassing Yamaha videos from back in the day. Me, a little kid, talking about the bikes and all this stuff. So I was like Yamaha's guy. So I honestly just thought that they were going to take care of me, because like I would go to the dealer meetings and like sign autographs as a kid. And like the top guys at Yamaha were like, "Oh, you're family to us. Like we got you, you know." So I just never really thought about it, to be honest. I was just still like in the moment.
Yeah.
But being that I was going to race Millville and all that, I started thinking about it, and I didn't have like any deal. So I called Mike Garrett at Yamaha and was like, "Hey, I'm going to race Millville. Like, I don't really want to race my bike. I want to race like a Yamaha Troy bike." And so he was like, "I don't know, this and that." And then he got me a test with Kehoe, and at Glen Helen I did really good, and my times were good and all that. And I think I impressed him enough that they were like, "Okay, we'll give you a bike for the last 3 rounds." So, but I had no contract for like the following year or anything like that. So yeah, I would go to Loretta's, battle with Travis, and I won. So he was racing 252 strokes also. So he was racing like 125A, 250A, and I was racing 125 Pro Sport, because this is when they started the whole Pro Sport thing.
Right.
And 125A, they had like 2 separate classes. It's kind of a weird time.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, we weren't in the same class in A, or one at Pro Sport or something. So I won those 2 first motos, and then I won one of the motos against him, and he beat me in the other one. So the third moto was like the showdown thing. And we were battling. I ended up crashing and broke my ankle. So not my leg, but just I think it was my other leg, my ankle. So I didn't get to end up finishing out that week. But ironically, Keith ended up winning the last moto in the A class, and he didn't win the championship. I think he got like 2nd or 3rd. But he ended up winning that last moto, and it was super emotional for me, because I was like sitting there watching him with the broken leg, and he on the podium, he was like, "I did this for my cousin, you know, we get the
That's
win
cool.
for him." So it's super cool, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Haven't really talked to him about that much, but kind of gives you the vibes thinking about it. But yeah, I think that might have been his only moto win at Loretta's, actually.
Ever?
Yeah. Got it done, the last one. And then they went on and raced, Millville and all that. And obviously I didn't get to do it. But then I ended up still signing with Yamaha after that and going to Supercross. And I had shoulder so I went to Dr. Ting to do my ankle. And he talked me into doing my shoulder, because I had heard it earlier that summer. And he's like, "Your shoulder's messed up. You need to do it." So I had this gnarly surgery, my ankle and my shoulder at the same time. Was in a wheelchair, the whole deal.
Jeez.
And actually, Zach ended up breaking his leg. So Zach was supposed to go with me. So the story of Zach White is like he was one of my best friends growing up. He lived in Edgewood too.
Oh, really?
And so we always hung out together, rode together, and stuff. He was part of our crew also. And Zach, though, was naturally a mechanic. Like, he could just fix stuff, you know. Like, my RC car broke. Hey, Zach, I need you to fix this, you know.
Yeah.
Bicycle's got a problem. Hey, Zach, you know. So I knew he was like – so he started being my mechanic in 99. So my dad was, like, working, couldn't keep up with my bikes. They're breaking all the time, all this stuff. So Zach started working for me just as, like, an internship, I guess, or whatever.
He was not getting paid. But
maybe my parents, I think, were paying him a little bit. But, you know, it was kind of like – but it was with the thing, like, I told him, like, hey, this would be sick if you were my mechanic. Like, like, you should learn this, and, like, we'll go do it together, you know? Like, this would be awesome, you know, because we're just, like, a couple of kids, like, teenagers, like, dreaming big, you know? So talked him into doing that. So he ended up going with Keith and all those guys to the Nationals. He ended up breaking his leg riding during the week.
Zach did?
Yeah, Zach did. So we're both, like, gimping around after that, so that was kind of funny. But I ended up getting the Yamaha Troy deal. But I should have waited another year to turn pro. Like, one of those 2 years, I should have just been like, man, injury after injury. Like, I don't know if you ever gotten one of those injury cycles.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that?
My whole pro career.
Okay.
I get hurt every year.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So you understand. So it's almost like you need to just take it's so hard to do in the moment, but you almost need to, like, take a step back, regroup.
I think a lot of people make this mistake. They just feel, like, pressured. Like, well, the guys I normally race with, they're all already, you know, for you, you're probably thinking Ernie and Travis they're moving up. Like, everybody's moving up. I got to go. And, man, you got to just take the emotion out of it and go, okay, well, how did this year go? You know, how has it been going? What does our progression look like? And for you, it was like you had an injury. So you missed a step, you know, and you needed to, like, slow down, take that step, then take the next step, you know. It happens all the time because maybe that opportunity for a ride comes up, or, you know, whatever it is, or, like, let's say Yamaha's like, well, we don't need a B guy or an A amateur guy. We need someone in the pro ranks. Or you get an offer for Yamaha Troy. Are you going to turn that down and say, no, I want to race amateur and pay for everything myself again?
Yeah, which is what I should have done, though. But, yeah, it seems crazy at the moment.
It seems crazy in the moment.
Yeah, because I didn't get a good deal from Yamaha at all. Like, they way lowballed me. It was pretty,
at YOT?
Oh, yeah. It was bad because, like, I didn't realize it at the time, but they had such a solid team. Like, they didn't need me. Like, I don't think they even really wanted me, to be honest. Like, looking back, you know, because they had to get rid of Casey Lytle to pick me up. And Lytle was, like, a podium guy the year before. Like, 99, Lytle and Casey Johnson were dominating the West Coast.
Yeah.
So it was like they had to get rid of, like, a second, third place guy to pick me up. And so I think they probably got forced into that by Yamaha, maybe. I don't know. You'd have to ask Kehoe this, but Kehoe was great to me. Don't get me wrong. Like, Kehoe is awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I think now, if it was now, it was a different time then. Like, if the differences in the way things operated was huge from now. I think now they would have said, okay, hey, here's what we'll do. You run Yamaha Troy graphics, we'll give you bikes and stuff. Maybe that comes from Yamaha, not the team. You do amateur A, we'll bring you to, you know, this Supercross, this one, maybe a handful of nationals, kind of get your feet wet. Or in that case, now it would be SMX next and
SMX next would have been perfect. That's like what I needed.
That's what you needed. So it's good to see they're making steps.
I think SMX next is great.
I do too.
Combine, like, it's so good for the kids. And you can see where, like, certain kids that you think would be winning those aren't, you know?
I know.
Or like, struggling kind of. And then other kids that I never heard of are winning them. And it's like, it just shows the difference in, like, pro and amateur racing.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a million things that could go on, right? And mentally, some guys just kind of buckle, or, you know, some guys shine. I don't know. There's 1,000 things. Or you get injuries, right? Like, there's so many things that could happen that have to work in your favor to make it work. I think it's way better now, and I think if you had been on that program, your story would have probably been a lot different down the road.
It could be, but there's, like, an underlying part of my whole story, which is kind of like my faith. So, like, how that all evolved as part of my career and how God kind of used motocross to grow me as a person and like reach me, I guess, as a person.
Okay.
So that's a whole different part of the story. So I
tell
don't know
it.
if we want to keep going with the motocross part or.
Well, we'll pick it back up. Tell me
or
that.
switch over, but yeah. So basically, just at that point in my life, like, well, I should probably go into the first year of Supercross and then I'll transition to that. So like, kind of what happened was I raced. Anaheim 1 was my first race. You're going to like this story because it was Anaheim 1 2000. Do you remember that race, Pete?
Yeah, I watched it. Because I was looking, as I'm prepping for this, I'm like looking, okay, what was his first race? I'm like, oh, it was A1 2000. Let me watch that.
Let me check that one out.
Well, so, I wanted to see how you did. And you were second the whole freaking main. And then a little tip over with, 5 laps to go or something?
Yeah, so the story behind the story is like, kind of just doing okay. It was kind of overwhelming day for me, practice, and like the track was a little gnarlier than I expected, I guess, and just like, I don't know, just the whole thing was a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I got like 6th or 7th in my heat, and at this point I'm still like expecting to win. Like that was like my mindset, like I'm here to win, Yeah. And so I remember the main event, I was able to kind of get my mind right and stuff, and I was way on the inside and got a pretty good start. And I was, I don't know, maybe like 5th or something. And there was that triple that like not very many people, like no one was doing it on a 125, which is crazy to think about, like that there's like a Supercross triple that people in the main, like like you won the main, right? You won the main?
I won the main,
You won the main, that's what I thought. And I don't think you were jumping that triple.
I think I had it. I think I jumped it like 4 or 5 times the whole race.
So
because it was a step on or like a dragon's back.
Yeah.
But on a 125,
it was gnarly.
It was really gnarly, and you had to grease that landing to be able to grab 3rd and get the triple.
Yeah. So
you were doing it, huh?
Yeah. So I felt like I was saving it. So I did it in practice, and no one else was doing it. And this was like how arrogant I was at the time. I thought I could like save it. Like this is gonna be like my secret line or whatever. And it actually kind of panned out. Like I was able to start doing it in the main. I figured the dragon's back out to where I could get enough pop to like get that downside. And my bike was fast. The Yamaha Troys were.
Oh my gosh, they were fast.
They were an unfair advantage, So I was still on it was like riding for R&D. I had an unfair advantage being on Yamaha Troy, so that was cool. So yeah, I worked up to like 2nd, I think, 2nd or 3rd.
You're 2nd.
And but the problem is like, I just was so tense, and this was the whole problem with my pro career is I was just too tense, too much anxiety, too much pressure on myself. And you get tired when you ride tense. I don't know if you know this, Ping. But
I've heard that.
I still remember that Zach ended up being my mechanic.
So was he?
I lost track of that story. So Kehoe I told Kehoe, like, this is my guy. Can you hire this guy, Zach? And he's like, are you sure? He's never been a mechanic. Like, are you sure this is your guy? I'm like, yes, hire Zach. So he did. So Zach was my guy. We moved to California, lived in an apartment together in the ghetto in Lake Elsinore because that's all we could afford because we weren't getting paid crap. Yeah. And so, So Zach was my guy. So Zach holds that. The first time I looked at the pit board, it was like lap 4 or something. And that was like the first time I remember like taking a breath. I'm pretty sure the first 3 laps I did not breathe. And so I was like, oh no, this is bad, But I made it like another, however many laps, 6 laps or something. And the sad thing was I was finally like relaxing and catching my breath. And I just caught this rut weird. And it like shot me sideways and just landed on a tough block. And those tough blocks there.
Yeah, they don't move.
They get you. So
okay, before we move on, let me jump back a little bit. When you got onto the full YOT race bike and Supercross for the first time preseason, how was all that going for you? And did you get on and feel comfortable right away? I mean, you had this very relaxed, smooth style that. Well, I remember watching you.
I'm going slow.
I remember watching you going, yeah, this kid's gonna be a problem. Like he's way too smooth and like you jump stuff really easily. I just remember thinking, okay, yeah, he's gonna be, maybe not this year, but like it's coming. He's gonna be a real problem.
I appreciate that.
And but you had Casey Johnson that year, and he was fast. So like you had good guys to gauge with. How was that preseason going?
It was good. At that time, I didn't really like being friends with really any of my competition. Yeah. Just like my cousins, like me and Keith and Kevin and Isaiah, like we were tight, and that was my crew, and everybody else was like, outsiders. And that was maybe like a wrong thing, but for me, it just kind of helped like with my motivation maybe or something.
Yeah.
But I got along with the guys on the team okay, and I ended up being friends with Stefan, and Kehoe kind of pushed that. And I think Kehoe saw that like I was pretty driven and like structured in a way, and Stefan was not at all, you know. But Stefan was crazy good. Like people don't understand how good Stefan was, Roncada. I mean, you know, but
I know.
Those of us that like experienced it know how good he was on certain days when he wanted to be, but the problem was most of the time he was thinking about, you know,
video games
and computers and stuff like that. But Kehoe set it up to where I could practice with Stefan at his house because he had that track in his yard. And not many people would ride Stefan's track. Like Casey Johnson would not ride Stefan's track. Oh, yeah, because Casey was fast, you know, faster than me. But he was fast just because he was, like, solid. Like, he wasn't, like, good at jumping, really. Like, he didn't like doing the big rhythms.
Yeah.
He was solid in the whoops, fast in the corners, no mistakes, just like a veteran.
Fit. Yeah.
Just like veteran. Like,
yeah.
Not the fastest guy, but could still win just because of how he did it, you know?
Roncada's place, that's one RV bot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was literally a video game. Did you ever ride there or no?
Yeah, and it was sketchy. I mean, just the whole thing was on a little bit of a hill, if I remember right. Like, it wasn't perfectly level, and the dirt was soft, and the jumps were gigantic.
And do you remember the offsets? Did you ride
yes.
there? Did you ride there?
Yeah,
when it was
like one
that?
side would be high, one's low, so you could do different options. Yeah.
It was like a video game.
Yeah.
I mean, because the lip you were taking off from was like not very wide because he wanted to be able to do all these different rhythms, and he could, and like that's part of what made him good.
Was it set up to where you could ride it backwards too, if I remember right? Maybe that was part of it.
Not the first year, maybe. It could have been when he redid it like a couple of years later.
I remember it
like
being
that.
very different. Like you'd go and go, "What is this? This isn't like a normal track." Yeah.
It was different, and Mark Peters told me that story. He built that track.
Oh, did he?
And,
okay.
He's like, yeah, Stefan showed up and had all these drawings and like laid them out and showed me like, this is what I want, you know, and this is how much money I have. And Mark's like, well, okay, I guess. But anyhow, yeah, so I ended up riding with Stefan and becoming friends with him and stuff. And we kind of like worked well for each other because he calmed me down a little bit and maybe I motivated him. I mean, I remember showing up at his house to ride and have to go in the house and he's on the computer doing whatever. And I'm like, dude, come on. Like, we're going to ride. Come, get your stuff on. Get out there, you know. But then he also helped me at the races a lot and was kind of like a mentor to me of like, all right, dude, why are you so uptight about this? Just chill out. Like,
he was a unique character. Like, just it was like he didn't care, you know.
Yeah. Because he partially kind of didn't.
Yeah, maybe he didn't care, but he was so relaxed and just kind of like goofy and. But when he wanted to, that guy. I mean.
Yeah, if you pissed him off, like that was a bad move.
Yeah.
Because he would lock in, you know.
And he lives here now. Yeah. Do you guys keep in touch?
Not so much anymore, but when he first moved out here, we did. We were friends for a while and stuff, and then we just kind of lost touch.
Yeah. He doesn't ride, or isn't he? Just computers and games, huh?
As far as I know, but I haven't talked to him in years. So.
Dang. Okay,
but
so
he's a good dude.
Take me through the rest of that 2000 season. Your best Supercross finish was a 6th at Texas. The outdoor season looks like a little rough. I mean, just take me through what was going through.
Yeah, so
I remember too. Sorry, stepping on you there, but I remember hearing a lot of stories about you dealing with arm pump. Like, so much so, I remember. I think maybe it was Casey or Dossel started calling you Pumpaloo.
Yeah, it was Casey.
It was Casey, and I'm like,
thanks, Casey.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Casey Johnson.
Yeah, Casey gave me a hard time that whole year, pretty much.
Did he?
Oh yeah, but I mean, not in a really bad way, but just I don't know.
That's how he was. Yeah. If he wasn't making fun of you, it means he probably didn't like you.
He liked to pick on me, so whatever that meant it was.
So what was going on?
So after that first main event, I actually felt really confident. I'm like, I could run this pace. Like, I should have been on the podium that night. Like, Casey probably would have ended up passing me because I think he was in third. I don't know. Maybe not. But, like, I should have been up there with you, Ping.
You should have been on the box, for sure.
It would have been good, but I blew it, you know. But so then the next week, I'm feeling good coming into the next week, you know. I'm like, this is going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
and they had that quad. Do you remember that quad? That huge, massive quad.
Yes, I do. Danny Smith was the only guy doing it.
Danny Smith was the only one doing it. So I was planning on jumping this thing. This was like first practice, but there was like a weird section before. It wasn't even a hard section, but there was like this double thing or something. I was trying to figure out if it was better to like triple single to get speed for the quad or double. And I triple singled, and then I just went to do the triple. But like, do you remember how they made that triple? Like, it was sketchy. Just
vaguely. I never did it. I was like, you know what?
So did you double or no? Or what'd you do? Do you remember? So some guys were just doubling because they made like a peak lip around and then like a peak and then a round.
Yeah, it was set up almost like a double.
Thought it was
I know what
like
you're saying.
they thought it was like Excite Bike or something. The track builder.
This is maybe one of the biggest Supercross jumps ever built.
Oh yeah, this thing was huge.
If those who haven't seen this, go watch Anaheim 2 2000. Yeah, Danny is the only 125 doing it, and he is just hanging like almost the camera. If they're on another rider, he's almost out of frame. It's wild.
So I was gonna jump this thing because I could have done it because I was a good jumper. My bike was fast, blah blah. So I tried to just do the triple, and I just frame cased that peak one, and hurt my wrist. I thought I broke my wrist. I don't even think so. Maybe this was the day before the race. Didn't we used to have
press day? Yeah,
we used to have like a pre-practice, or I don't know if it was press.
It
or
was
like
pro. I think they called it pro practice,
something like that.
Yeah,
it might have been during that. So I go get
factory practice.
Get my wrist X-rayed that night or whatever. They're like, oh, it's not broken. Da da da. So I think I tore cartilage now, like after having more injuries, and anyhow, I'm hurt. So then I end up riding hurt for a few weeks, and I'm like not doing good. And then people are freaking out, and I'm getting pressure from my parents and everyone because now all of a sudden I'm like 12th, 14th, whatever, and like, which is crazy kind of if you think about it. Like now I'm like, I was a rookie in Supercross, like making mains, getting 12th. Like,
yeah.
That isn't that bad. I mean, I think I finished the series in maybe 9th or something in the series overall or something. Like, that's not that bad for a rookie, but for me at the time it was bad. And that's kind of where the beginning of kind of my faith journey starts is like I wasn't really brought up in like a Christian environment, or sort of. My parents like believe in Christian morals pretty much. They just don't believe the same things I do and like the Bible and stuff. We didn't go to church and things like that. But I became very arrogant because of, maybe not outwardly to people. I think I was a pretty respectful kid for the most part. Maybe not to everyone, but I was okay. But inwardly, I was pretty arrogant, I guess, and I think God started working on me and like trying to get my attention with some of these struggles, and like just I was at a place where like I tell this story at FCA camp. You were asking me about FCA camp, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I've been doing their camps for like 20 years or something, and you guys could look it up, FCA MX. But anyhow, I tell this story is like I had a factory ride. I'm 18 years old, living in Southern California, like making money kind of ish, like met my wife, we started dating, had a girlfriend, like life should have been good, right? Like should have been like peak. 18 years old with a girlfriend and a factory ride racing Supercross. And it wasn't. It was like horrible. I felt just like this weight on my shoulders and just like stress, and just it was tough. Like I just wasn't in a good spot. Fighting with my parents, they weren't happy with how I was doing, and especially my mom. And because of how our trainer slash she thought she was gonna, I thought she was gonna take a step back, and she thought she was gonna keep going. And so we had this split issue. So I was not in a good spot with them, all this stuff. And then God started putting people in my life. My wife, number one, because she always has had a really strong faith, and she started talking to me about what I believed and why I believed in it. At this point I didn't believe in God. I just thought it's not real, it's just something people make up and stuff like that. But God started working on my heart, and then really changed my life completely. Like, you know, my career never ended up really panning out like I thought that it should, but my life has worked out in such a great way because of my faith and how all that happened, you know?
Yeah.
So the story is actually Vegas Supercross. So I had a couple good results that year. Like you said, 6th in Dallas. I think I won a heat somewhere. Houston, I think I won a heat. Maybe got top 10 that night.
Yeah, and I don't think your results are indicative of like how fast you were. You were fast. I think you were getting arm pump or getting tired.
Yes.
And you'd end up back further at the end, but you would run up front a lot.
So the arm pump thing was because of my legs. So like I had 2 years with 3 broken legs, you know? So like 98, 2 broken legs. 99, broke the other leg.
Right.
I never like strengthened them quite like I should have. And I just wasn't like healthy enough to be doing this, you know, like to be racing at that level with you guys that were like the elite guys. I just wasn't healthy and strong enough and all that. Like I worked hard. Like people thought I wasn't in shape because it looked like I wasn't. I mean, I would like be up front and fade, you know, but I worked harder than any of the guys I was around, you know, like any of my people I knew. So I don't think it was necessarily that. It was more my nerves and anxiety holding me back, like not breathing right. As stupid as it sounds, just like breathing and relaxing when you ride is such an important thing. So I just was too tense, and my legs weren't strong enough, and I had learned to use my arms to compensate, and it was giving me horrible arm pump, and I just wasn't training properly with the way I was lifting weights and stuff, because I always lifted weights, and my forearms are naturally big. Like you probably got arm pump a little bit.
Yeah, but, I had to ride a lot. Like now, because I don't ride a lot, I get arm pump bad.
So like the dudes with the skinny, lean muscle, you know, like so a lot of it depends on your body type. But like the guys with the like endurance muscle fibers, like you actually want endurance muscle fibers in your forearms. You do not want strength. So like if you're trying to train for arm pump, like do not be doing like strength building stuff. In my opinion, like you need endurance. Like which is why you said if you ride a lot, you're fine because you get all those fine-tuned motor skills and you get your arms right and all that. Yeah. But yeah, I got arm pump just all the time. I mean,
well, if your legs are weak, I mean, that's what you need to be using to control a lot of the bike, and your hands can relax. You were the opposite, right? Yeah. So that's a big problem too.
And so I got a different trainer that year. Eddie, you remember Eddie?
Eddie Casillas.
Eddie Casillas, yeah. So that was like, he needed riders. I was kind of like his first rider. That kind of helped him get on the map with racing. He needed guys, and I wasn't making enough money to pay anybody that was like established, you know.
Well, he was the team trainer, or he was trying to be at YOT, right?
Maybe,
because I think
he definitely wasn't the team trainer, but
he was trying to be. Because I trained with him in 2002.
Okay.
He was my trainer.
Yeah,
Eddie's great.
Eddie was a good dude for sure. I mean, he slept on my couch in the ghetto apartment for a while while we were first starting out. So he was like cutting his teeth and working his way up, you know. And he helped me a lot. And I know things with him and I ended kind of weird. And I saw like one time he made a post about it or something. And I feel kind of bad that like hopefully it's all good now, but. You know, I do appreciate what you did, Eddie. That's what I'm trying to say. But so he helped me, but a little bit with that. But even then, like even when I was training with him, I still would get tired. Like I just didn't feel right. Like I was super fit, but being super fit and being like fit for motocross is like a little bit different, right? Like motocross is like a weird thing.
It is, and I think a lot of it is mental.
Yeah, and it was for me. Like, it was nerves. 100% it was nerves. Like, that was the main problem, was just, like, I needed to chill out and relax.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
If you can't figure out how to calm your mind and block out, you know, the thousands of people in the stands and your manager in your ear and your, you know, parents and your – dude, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And I think that has a bigger impact on how you end up doing – results-wise in your racing than maybe anything else, is how can you handle all of that distraction and noise?
Yep, and for me it was for sure. And the answer for me really was just faith, you know. So like Vegas Supercross was like a horrible night for me that year. I don't even know what it says, but
16th? That was a East-West shootout.
I don't even know how I got 16th because I'm pretty sure maybe I just gave up. I don't know. I either gave up or I pulled off the track early. One of those two things. And Kehoe was like livid with me after.
Yeah.
Like he was like pissed. So it's the only time he really got mad at me, I think, but I got the talk after. And so then I hadn't been dating Danielle very long, but she was there with me. And then my mom was at that race, and she came up to the truck afterwards and, like, for whatever reason, started yelling at my girlfriend. And then Danielle's, like, a strong-willed person, we'll say. And so she's yelling at my mom. This is, like, in the team truck. They're, like, screaming at each other. Oh, yeah. It was embarrassing. It was a tough thing. And but I mean, at this point, I was just, so my point is for me, like, it's a weird thing to say, like, but you hear about people like kind of hitting rock bottom, in life, and like turning to God and Jesus and stuff. And in a weird way, that was sort of like my rock bottom, like, I know that doesn't make sense because I wasn't in like any kind of hardship or anything, but just like emotionally, kind of like emotional rock bottom, I guess. And I prayed with Danielle that night and just accepted Jesus in my heart, and like just I didn't understand it, I didn't know, but enough people, I just felt God like telling me this is what you need to do. And part of it comes back to Steve Wise, which is why I listened to that podcast, because Steve was in the ministry, and when he was doing his schools, he would always pray at the beginning of the schools. And that was one of the first times, like, I remember him praying, and I remember feeling something, like some kind of peace when he was praying, And I was like, that's cool. That's weird, like maybe, I wonder if there is something to it, you know what I mean? And then I heard him talking about it and stuff. So that sort of like planted the seed for me and stuff was Steve Wise, actually. And I told that story a bunch too, but then I had kind of even tried to accept Jesus the best way I knew how back then as a kid, but it didn't go anywhere, like it just was kind of like, okay, well, what now? I don't know. I just went back to living how I wanted to live. But this time was different because I got into church. Danielle and I started going to church there in Corona, Crossroads, and went there for a lot of years, and I started trying to learn and figure it out. I was basically like, I don't know what this is all about, but I feel like I need to try this, like I need to find out. And started going to Steve Hudson's chapels, listening to him, and Steve's super cool. I'm sure you've been to a lot of them.
He was,
I don't know your faith or your beliefs, but I'm sure you've been to at least a couple of Steve's chapels.
Steve's a big part of my Christian faith. He and Greg Albertine kind of brought me to Jesus. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and I never ended up getting to work with Greg. Go ahead, you can share.
No, my frustration, like kind of what brought me there, was the injuries. I'm like, how is it I'm working so hard and I'm doing everything right? I'm blah, 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 blah. And he told me, and at the time I had just sort of accepted Jesus, and that was through Albie, who was always so happy. He always had this peace and this like sunshine about him. And I'm like, we left a race one time and we both didn't have a great day. And I'm like, just all grumpy. And he's typical Albie, right? Just laughing and smiling. I'm like, dude, we had an awful day. Like, why are you so happy? And he's like, Ping, you got to come to my house Wednesday. Come to my Bible study. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So anyway, that was the start. And it's a whole list of things that God then threw in my path. My wife, whose dad is a pastor. And that was another part of it. I started dating her, and we go to dinner with him, and he looks me right in the eye. And I'm just brand new. Like, Steve got me a Bible, which I still have. And he looks at me and goes, have you accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior? And I'm like, I'm not sure yet. I think. I don't really know what that means. But anyway.
So,
you get there one way or another. God will, if he puts it on your heart and you're listening, he'll then line up all the pieces, right?
Yep.
So.
And I didn't know that about you, so that's kind of cool. We had a similar experience, I guess, in a different way, but same but different.
Yep.
So I guess since we're on this subject, I can go ahead and share the whole thing. But I sucked outdoors. I did okay, but I ended up getting the arm pump surgery in the middle of outdoors. Like, it was so bad that I'm just like, I'm going to do it. Like, I can't hold on. Like, I'm just.
Did it
I'm
help?
gonna go do it. It helped. It helped. It wasn't a cure. I don't think he cut me fully right. Like Stefan had already had it done in Europe, and his was like released, like his whole arm was released, the fascia. Mine was only released, like I would have like a bulge right here. Like I'd come off from the motos and it'd be like my muscle would be like bulging out where he cut it, but he didn't cut it up by my wrist, So I'd still have like, it still felt like someone was like gripping me here, but not here anymore, So it was better.
He made a slice in the fascia, just in the
Yay
middle.
wide, yeah. Like he should have done a little better job, but anyhow, they didn't know. I was like one of the first people in the States to get that surgery.
Is that right?
Yeah. So like it was like an experimental kind of signing your life away on the waiver kind of a deal. So
crazy.
So yeah. So that was in the middle outdoors, and that was when Kehoe wasn't really for that. He was like, "Really, you're gonna do it?" Like there was like a week off, and I just did it. And he's like, "You sure you're gonna be back?" And anyway, I did it anyway. But yeah, should have probably waited. But I stayed healthy that whole time, and had a really good off season because I was finally healthy. I finally like made it more than a year without an injury. And then I was working with Eddie. He was helping me get stronger, more fit, and all this stuff. And he got me deadlifting, things like that. That really helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And
so you were going into 01.
So going into
finally
01, I was way better.
Okay.
I was in a way better spot.
I want to take a pause right here.
Okay.
We're going to pick it up with 01. This is your Troy Lee Designs timeout, guys. Stick around. We'll be right back to pick it up here with Justin. In the motocross graphics game, customization is key. TBD MX can bring any of your design concepts to life. Simply fill out a design request and they will email you a concept for approval. TBD MX also has a showroom full of designs to choose from on their site. Whether you just want number plate backgrounds or a fully custom kit, the TBD MX crew has you covered. Visit tbdmx.com today and get the look you want.
Every AMA championship in the past decade was won on Dunlop tires. They are the best. Choose the best performing tire and a brand that has never wavered in their support of our sport. Choose Dunlop. Pro Circuit. Pro Circuit products are designed with one goal in mind: winning. Through passion and hard work, Pro Circuit has operated the most successful 250 team in the history of the sport. They use that same formula when developing exhaust, engine, and suspension parts for every brand. When only the highest level of performance is acceptable, trust Pro Circuit.
At Seat Concepts, our handcrafted seats are made in America. Visit us online or call today. Seat Concepts. Ride the world with us.
Something from nothing. That's what Nihilo Concepts is about. It starts with a spark, an idea, a concept, which leads to a design, and finishes with engineered excellence with the highest quality products created with durability in mind. All our products are made in the USA at our state-of-the-art facility in Stuart, Florida. Whether you are a weekend warrior, ride for fun, or at the highest level of competition, Nihilo Concepts offers innovative titanium, aluminum, and carbon fiber parts for your dirt bike. We offer a wide variety of products that you can customize to your liking. Browse our site for foot pegs, brake tips, engine components, specialty tools, frame grip tape, lever grips, carbon fiber components, motor stands, our secondary on-switch, plus much more. Head to NihiloConcepts.com and see for yourself why factory teams like Red Bull KTM, Rockstar Husqvarna, Troy Lee Designs Gas, Orange Brigade, Club MX, KLM Gas, and some of the fastest riders in the world choose Nihilo Concepts.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. I'm kind of like, well, I salt my food, I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
Arc levers are the most durable and reliable on the market. They have the most premier class championships of any aftermarket lever. Arc is the only ratio adjustable folding lever on the planet, and their patented design is precision machined in-house right here in the USA. The occasional tip over on the bike is inevitable. Broken levers? Those are optional. Visit arclevers.com today. Toyota has become synonymous with reliability, and for good reason. Toyota vehicles are consistently rated #1 by Consumer Reports and in customer satisfaction. Partner that with a dealership that wholeheartedly supports the motocross community, and it's crystal clear where you should buy your next car or truck, Toyota of Redlands. As a major partner of the BarX Yamaha racing team, as well as personal sponsor of many factory racers and a premier partner of the Whiskey Throttle Show, Toyota of Redlands is heavily invested in moto. Check out all the new and used Tundras, Tacomas, and other vehicles at Toyota of Redlands today. Reliability, performance, and customer service. Get it all at Toyota of Redlands. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro-X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro-X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the Polaris RZR 800s. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro-X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro-X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome.
The Specialized Science Club introduces the Levo 4. An electric mountain bike so advanced, it borders on sorcery. Together, you and the Levo 4 become a harmonious hybrid of organic and synthetic. It's a rider-enhancing machine that transforms you into a cycling cyborg. 720 watts of power and 111 Newton-meters of torque, amplifying your mortal muscles, allowing you to bend space and time to your will. All channeled through futuristic suspension, with honed geometry, granting super control while traversing extreme terrain at hyper speed. With supernatural power delivery, you'll have super traction to conquer climbs where others spin out. And you'll tire, if at all, before the bike does. Thanks to the Levo 4's super range.
Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com. Use our code WHISKEY20. Get you 20% off. And give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding. Your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear. No. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts. For kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody. You name it. They make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com. Check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20. Use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. Welcome back. That was your Troy Lee Designs Timeout. we appreciate Troy Lee Designs supporting us and supporting me for a long time. Great company. If you guys need new gear, look at their fall stuff. It's out, and they've got all kinds of different lines, depending on what you're looking for. Off-road line, all of their SE5 helmet lines. Man, stuff is incredible. Very, very good helmets. And mountain bike gear, paint department, if you want to get your helmet looking trick, check those guys out at TroyLeeDesigns.com. Justin, let's pick you back up here with 2001. So you finished that first season. What are the top, and there was, like I said, like you could see you had speed and talent. The results on paper, if you're sitting down looking at it, were probably, not what you wanted.
Not very good.
What was the conversations with Kehoe and YOT and, everyone else as you went into that next year? And you just have a 1-year deal, so you had to re-sign?
I just had a 1-year deal. Yeah, and I think it was exactly like what you said. Like, they saw that I had the potential. I think they saw that I worked pretty hard and stuff, but I don't think he was – I mean, they definitely weren't happy with how I was doing or, like, any of that, so.
Neither were you.
Yeah. So it was a struggle, and then it got kind of to the point – I don't fully remember the details, but it kind of got to the point where I wasn't sure if they were going to re-sign me. And so I started, got an agent and started shopping around a little bit to see what else was out there.
Well, you were saying upstairs,
so,
the other bike you were looking at was the Suzuki, because our bikes were really good at Primal Impulse.
Well, not quite yet.
Oh, it wasn't yet. Okay, that's later.
But the next year, yeah. So, I mean, I wanted to stay at Yamaha.
Yeah,
for sure. And
those were the best bikes.
Yeah.
Fast, handled well. Enzo was doing your stuff.
Yep.
So I mean, great. Yeah. Like everything about him was really good.
It was good. Yeah. The whole program was good, and I wanted to stay. It's just I wasn't happy. Like, I just wasn't making good money there, so that was a little bit of a problem. And then I wasn't doing good enough to like really get much of a better deal.
So it didn't get much better for a while.
No, it didn't get much better. A little bit better, but not. My bonuses got better, and I got a little bit more salary, but not much. But what ended up happening, I think, and this is an interesting thing to share, and I don't even know this for sure, but Husqvarna started that team.
Fast by Faraci.
So I don't really know how that came about, but a couple years before in '99, I raced this Golden State, and Alicio Chiotti was at the Golden State, who's the current world champion for Husqvarna, and I ended up beating him both motos that day, and I won the race. And the Husqvarna guy, even then, he like came up to me and was like, "You come race for us in Europe." This was like in '99 when I was a kid, and I was like, "No, I'm staying in the U.S." Which hindsight, I was like, "Wow," I was like flattered, that was cool. But I'm like, "No, I'm a race Supercross guy." Yeah. And so anyhow, I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but Husqvarna, the Fast by Faraci people, talked to my agent or whatever, and they flew me back there. Their shop was like on the East Coast somewhere, like Pennsylvania or something. Okay. And so they flew me back there, and I'm literally at dinner to ride the bike because I'm like, well, I don't know about this deal. I want to ride the bike, seems a little sketchy. And Todd Hicks from Fox calls me like while I'm at dinner with these guys, he's like messaging me. Like, I didn't answer, and he's like, call me back. So then I as soon as I could, I called him, and he's like, hey, where are you at? And so I told him, and he's like, don't sign anything. And so I'm pretty sure, because Fox sponsored YOT, I'm pretty sure that those guys, so thanks, Todd, if that is the case of what happened, but I think he went to bat for me and said, no, you're going to re-sign this kid, I think. But I don't know. Kehoe would know. But so I ended up re-signing, so good off-season and stuff. And
I wanted to ask about that off-season. This was 01 was the year they introduced the 250F.
Yep.
Did you get a chance to ride it? Did you have an option to race it?
No.
They picked Ernie and Nathan, and that was it.
That was it, yeah. We never even got to ride it because they knew, like, if we rode it, we were going to be pissed. Like, it was way better. Yeah. I mean, it was a works bike.
Yeah.
So it was better because 250Fs now we know are better. At the time, I don't know, there's had some disadvantages, but their bikes were sick. Like, those works bikes were better. I mean, I rode with them at the test track all the time. Like, it was obvious.
Well, I'll tell my story when we get there. But in 01, there was a moment where I was like, oh, yeah, I don't stand a chance, against that thing.
So we're not at that point yet? No?
Well, we'll get there. Okay. So take me into 01.
So the turning point for me was Bercy Supercross. So basically what happened is I had been practicing with Villeman and kind of become good friends with him. And that outdoor season, I was riding with him a lot and his dad and stuff, and that was like working out pretty cool. And Ernie wanted, I guess, more money than they were willing to pay him to go to Bercy that year. And back then it was like a 125 and 250 class.
Yeah.
And for like Paris Supercross now,
Yeah.
for people that don't know what Bercy
Yeah.
is, but there was 2 classes. So Villeman was the one that got me that deal to go over there. And I didn't make much, but I didn't really care. I just like, yeah, I'll go do it. That'll be cool. And so I ended up winning. And like I think part of it was like the pressure thing, like we talked about. So it was just me and Zach went. Nobody else from the team went. Brought my stuff, put it on a stock bike, whatever. I didn't know any of those guys. I mean, I was racing like Grant Langston, Roderick Tane, like Steve Boniface, Greg Schnell went that year.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
Fast
racing.
guys.
I mean, I was racing legit guys. It wasn't like I was racing like nobodies, but I didn't know Grant Langston. I didn't know, to me it was just like some dudes, like some Euro dudes. I don't know. And so that helped me relax and just ride. And I ended
Were
up.
they still doing 2 mains each night?
There was like 3.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Right.
So I won like almost every main. And that was a huge confidence builder going into the season too. And then, I did really good that season. But the cool part of the story for that was Anaheim won that year. I was fast in practice. Won my heat, I think. And then before the main, I just started panicking, like the stress and the anxiety. Like maybe I had like a legit panic attack, like looking back now knowing, but I just started thinking like everyone expects you to win. Like you're going to go out there and freeze up and blow it. That's basically like what was in my mind. And so I'm going in the tunnel and I'm just like, my throat's like closing up. I'm like straight panicking. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I just walked down the hallway, Anaheim, you can go like where the bathrooms were right there. I just like kept walking and just like went into like a little area where like nothing was, and literally just dropped on my knees and started praying, like on my knees on the concrete in the tunnel and like off by myself. And I was just like, God, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I can't handle this. Like that moment of surrender, like just, I can't do this on my own. Like I need your help. And I felt this wave of peace come over me. It was like crazy. Like I just felt like whoosh, like this feeling of just like peace, like almost like when you're about to fall asleep and you're awake, but you're not, kind of a feeling. It was like crazy. And I just had this thought, like I didn't hear a voice. Like I've never heard God's voice talk to me, but I get like feelings in my mind and I know it's God talking to me. And he's just like, you're making motocross too important. Like that's what he told me. He's like, you're making it the number one thing in your life, which later becomes a tricky thing, right? Because to be an elite professional, you have to make it your sport. Probably anything in life, right? Like if you want to be an elite professional in any discipline in life, like you have to make that like your priority, right? Yeah. But at the same time, we have to make God number one in our life. And so that's something that I had to learn. But anyhow, so then I just relaxed and just went out there and rode and did well that year. And
so you started the year, you got a third at A1. I'm trying to think of who won. Who won that race?
Ernesto, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
I think I was fourth, actually, at this opener. Maybe I'm thinking of a different race. Anyway, you won San Diego the next weekend. And then you were second at Anaheim too. So I got to believe if you weren't leading points.
Yeah, I was leading points. Yeah.
So step back now. Take me through San Diego. You get your one and only Supercross win. Like, how was that? Take me through that whole main event.
Stressful. It's sad to say, but I mean, I won my heat, whole shot the main. Ernesto was behind me, which was kind of good because I knew because he's the only guy with the 4-stroke. And so I could hear him. And we had been doing motos together at the test track and stuff. And so I was like, okay, just like this is going to be a long main. Like he's on you. Like just start clicking off your laps. And then a good thing and a bad thing, he stalled the bike. So he stalled the bike. And the one bad thing about that 4-stroke back then was it was really hard to start.
Yeah.
So I heard it go quiet. Well, this was maybe 3-4 laps in, and we had already pulled away. So it was like quiet, you know. So then I rode a few more laps, and then I started doing the peek over the shoulder thing. And it was like Danny Smith, I think, was in second or something like that.
Okay.
And so
he was factory Suzuki.
He was factory
right?
Suzuki, yeah. So I see him, and then I just kind of just kept going and just tried to keep him like where he was basically, and just go fast enough. But definitely the last few laps, I started, you know, don't mess this up.
Yeah.
Like, because I had a pretty big lead, so I was
Yeah.
like, just bring her home. And I almost screwed it up right before the finish. They had it rained, and they had like shortened practice. The track was really good that night, but we had less practice, and there was like this dragon's back thing before the finish, but it was fairly easy. But the very last lap, I'm like, I'm just gonna roll it. Like they had made the dragon's back super simple, but I didn't realize like if you rolled it, there was like a ditch where they had like drained water.
Oh.
So when I rolled it, I had to like wheelie this little ditch, and I like kind of almost crashed.
Oh my
like
gosh.
it was,
Can you imagine?
yeah, like 10 feet from the finish line. So rolling it turned out not to be the safe move, but I made it across the finish.
Well, I'm going to tell you my story. Well, first of all, tell me what that felt like for you. You got to feel like after the all 2000 season and all of this stress and feeling like you're not meeting expectations, you had a good weekend at A1, and now you get a win. Like,
Yeah, it was a weight lifted off my shoulders for sure, and it was a dream come true. It was fun, you know, sitting on the triple and doing the fist pump to the crowd, all that, you know. I mean, you've done it, so you know, but it was an exciting time, and everyone's happy for you. My grandparents were there that night. It was like a super. Unfortunately, my parents weren't at that round, so that was like a big bummer. And me and my mom were still on the outs during this time. We weren't really talking even at this point, so that was sad. But my grandparents were there, and I got to kind of have a moment with my grandpa, you know, and it was like a big deal for him too. So.
sure.
So that was super fun, and yeah, I felt confident, and I was getting better and more relaxed. After that, started getting better, but things got derailed a little bit because Phoenix, actually probably one of the best I've ever ridden in my life was Phoenix that year.
Okay.
And what I get 11th or 9th?
11th, yeah.
11th. And so what happened was I won my heat race easily. In the main, I had been hole shotting pretty much everything. And Ernesto had a bad heat, and he was way on the outside on the start. And I come into the first turn, and I never even saw him, like, coming. And I was, like, drifting into the first turn, and he just comes across my front wheel, just on the gas, just boom, high sides me. Like, because we're hauling into the first turn. Like, it wasn't like a slow first turn. It was kind of like a sweeper type deal.
Okay.
And he just chopped my front wheel, and it just, like, cartwheeled me. But I was mad as heck when I got up. And I rode it. That 11th is probably the best I rode in Supercross. Like,
Really?
I mean, that sounds stupid, but my bars were bent. Like, I crashed. Like, I was like flipping in this first turn. And it's how I remember it. I don't know. Maybe maybe there's a YouTube video and I just barely flipped and crashed. But how I remember it was like one of those, you know, sky ground things. And yeah, so I was pissed, and I rode pretty good that night, I thought, but I just couldn't make.
What was said in the pits after?
So I left. Like, I got back, and they were on the podium and stuff, and I just changed, and I just put my bike on the stand and just split. He didn't even come back before. And so, ironically, this is an interesting part of the story for everyone out there probably is, like, this is when I figured out that they didn't want me to win anyway. Like, so Kehoe called me, of course, right after, and his main thing was, like, you know, he didn't mean to do it, and we just can't have you retaliating. Like, that was, like, the message, like, you can't retaliate. And then there was a couple other things said, not by Kehoe, but, like, by some other Yamaha people that I was around, like some of the factory people. It was basically like, we need the 250F to win this championship.
You know what? It's funny, dude. I'd never even thought about that, but you're right. This is its debut. It's in Yamaha's best interest, which it means it's in the team's best interest for that thing to win.
Yep. Which
puts
if I
you
won,
in a terrible place.
I mean, they wouldn't have been mad if I won, and they were supporting me. I'm not saying that they weren't doing a good job. Yamaha Troy did great for me.
Yeah.
Kehoe was awesome. Like, Dean Baker, our motors were sick. Like, Zach,
Yeah.
Everything was fine. But in reality, they wanted Ernesto to win, not me. That was like the thing.
Wow, man.
And the wheels kind of fell off for me a little bit after that. But the biggest one that really, and you've probably heard this story, you and Grant have probably talked about it, but Houston was the moment in that championship where I could have, was the win-loss part of the season for me, I feel like. Not so much Phoenix, because there's nothing I could do about Phoenix. I did the best I could.
Yeah.
I rode my hardest. I rode pretty good, I thought, that night. Houston, I messed up. So, like, got an okay start. Langston was leading, and the whoops were just edgy that night. I've watched it on TV, and gosh, it looks like we go slow back then. Have you watched it? It's like so embarrassing. It's like,
well, the bikes, man.
The bikes.
It was a different time.
If you guys think that we were slow in that generation, go get an old 125, like a 2000 125, and go try to ride a supercross track, and then let me know.
Yeah, let me know how that goes.
Let me know what
Call
you
me
think.
from the hospital.
Yeah. Let me know what you think after that. But anyhow, the whoops. Well, you probably remember. I forget you were there.
Yeah.
Do you remember 01
I had
Houston?
a terrible night. My 01 that was my first year on KTM.
Oh, okay.
No link.
Oh, so you were teammates with Langston.
Yeah.
But you remember what happened?
He crashed.
He crashed on the last lap, I think.
Last corner. It was a triple and then a peaky weird little double into a 180 right, and the finish was right there. And he did a one-hander off that double, which was insane.
Yeah, because
Cased it and crashed.
I didn't even do that double in the main. I just quit doing it.
Really?
I was like, this is too risky. I'm not even gonna do it. That was my Casey Johnson moment, because Casey would be like that. Because I would be doing some gnarly jump the year before, and he'd be like, nah, I ain't even doing that. I'll make it up in the turns, like I'm just not even gonna try that. Like,
yeah,
that's not worth it, So that was like my Casey Johnson moment where I was like, that ain't worth it. I'm just gonna charge it and I'll make up the time somewhere else. Well, Ernie was ahead of me. I was right behind him. We were kind of working up to the pack, and then he crashes in the whoops. And so then I'm like in third, and it's like Grant, Travis Preston, me, and I'm like, and at that moment I was like, okay, I got this in the bag. Like, I can beat these guys. Like, this is gonna work out. I just need to calm down, take my time. And like a couple laps later, I just caught a weird edge in the whoops and sideways and crashed.
Happens fast.
So I feel like that was one I let go, especially considering Grant crashed and Travis ended up winning, and that was like a big turning point for his career.
Yeah.
But that night I could have got a lot of points on Ernesto, and that would have been a good one. But
where did he end up?
I think like 6th or 7th. I don't know.
Even a third or second would have been,
Yeah. I ended up like 9th, and he got 7th or something, where I could have, if I would have won, that would have been like a big point swing. I could have been in it, but anyway, it is what it is.
The things you look back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a good year for me. And then, so to come to the Suzuki thing, what happened with that is like outdoors, we switched to that unleaded fuel that year. You remember that? We had to switch to unleaded. Everyone did.
Yeah.
Everyone did.
Okay.
And our bikes were having problems. Like, they were fast, but we were having issues. I almost died several times at the test track, Supercross.
Dude, it's funny you say that. I don't remember that was the fuel year, but we stayed with Brock, Ivan Tedesco and I, and maybe Casey Johnson. We were with Brock Sellards all summer, and Ivan was blowing up bike after bike. Was that you guys blowing bikes up?
Was he on YOT though?
Yeah.
So that was the next year. We weren't teammates that year. So he was on.
Oh, it must have been 02.
He was on Honda, Plano Honda, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 02. So anyway,
they must have had another issue because he was blowing bikes up.
So
next year.
Actually, did you land on me at Vegas Supercross that year? You remember that?
01?
Yeah. Was that you? Do you remember landing on a guy on the finish line jump in the main?
I don't remember it.
Running in
I'm not saying I didn't. I don't remember that.
Okay. I don't know. I don't even think you crashed. I crashed, but it wasn't your fault. If it was you, it wasn't your fault. I don't know who it was, but my bike just died. Like, because the bike would just, like, bog and just cut out from the fuel. The fuel was boiling.
Oh.
And so this was the first time we had the problem was Vegas Supercross, and the fuel boiled and my bike, like, died up the face of the finish, and I just, like, faced it, and somebody behind me just
brutal.
cleaned me. But I was okay, sort of. I mean, but one of those beat up, but okay. So then outdoors, the same thing was happening in the first two outdoors. But I was the only one having the problem. And so, like, they kind of were listening to me, but kind of not. They're like, yeah, your bike's bogging. Okay,
Yeah.
Sure. But then...
Who was the other 125 guy? Mehdi?
Nick Way.
Oh, Nick Way.
Nick Way, yeah.
Okay.
So then Nick started having the problem. So then they're like, oh, okay, there is a problem. And then they fixed it and stuff. But halfway through that summer, I still didn't have an offer from Yamaha Troy, which was crazy to me. Like, I just couldn't believe that, like, they were just dragging their feet. And so Michael started shopping around for other teams, and, like, literally every other team wanted to sign me. Like, Factory Connection. I don't know about Pro Circuit. I don't remember them really being in the conversation, but Factory Suzuki. Those are the two main ones I was considering, I guess, was like either Honda or Factory Suzuki. And I rode the Factory Connection bike, and it handled awesome, but it was just like all top end, like no bottom end. This was a 01 CR, which hindsight in 02, Honda had a new motor that was like way better. And then the Factory Connection bikes ended up being really fast. You probably remember.
Yeah.
And you were on a fast bike on the KTM. It just didn't handle.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
So you had a whole different set of issues.
Yeah, we had different problems.
But racing with you, like what I was telling you upstairs is racing with you guys on the Suzukis, I was like, these bikes are pretty quick. Like of all the bikes, like I feel like the Suzuki is probably the second best bike to get on. And so I was going to go to Factory Suzuki, and Yamaha finally made me an offer, but I still just didn't feel like it was very good. Like I just didn't feel like very valued there, basically.
Okay. And was it to ride the 125 again?
The 125 again. Yeah, it wasn't to ride the 250F. So I'm like, my Suzuki deal was way better. I was going to make like over twice as much money riding for Factory Suzuki, Roger DeCoster with Pastrana and Wyndham. Like, it's like a no-brainer, right? Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
So I had talked to Roger on the phone, and I was like, it's a done deal. Like, I'm doing it. This is going to be awesome. Can't wait to learn from you, all this stuff, right? Well, then Redbud, I exploded a front wheel on that flyaway jump and went over the bars and dislocated my shoulder again. And this was like really bad on my part, just being a young kid, but I had surgery. And then someone from Suzuki called me and was like, hey, we want you to go see our team specialist, blah, blah, blah. Well, Michael, my agent at the time, I hadn't signed the deal yet because he was trying to change some wording or something, like something to do with my injury clause, or I don't really remember, but I'm just like, whatever, if you can get it changed, but like, this is what I want to do, you know? So it was like verbally agreed to, but not signed.
Okay.
So that was a problem. And then I go to the team specialist guy, and he's kind of like I don't remember his name, but he was kind of like a Doc G type guy, but it wasn't Doc G, it was somebody else. And so I just like...
Navarro?
It wasn't Navarro either. I definitely know him, but anyhow, he checks me out, and like I tell him about all my shoulder issues. Like I just tell him, like I was looking at it like this guy's here to help me, you know. But really, that guy was there to evaluate me. Okay, so I didn't realize this as a 19-year-old kid. So so then he wanted to see the operative report, and so I call my doctor, and they're like, oh, he's out of town, or this is blah, 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 we'll get to it next week, or whatever, blah, blah. Well, they didn't get to it or something. So then, like, the next week, my agent's calling me, and he's like, what happened? You were supposed to send this thing, and now they think something's wrong with your shoulder, and you're hiding the operative report, and da-da-da-da. So the whole deal fell apart. So I ended up on Motor World Suzuki, which Paul Lindsay had been talking to me too, but I just wasn't like super interested in it at that point. And he actually was like, hey, we could go Honda or Suzuki. Like Paul was really excited to have me, which got me excited that he was excited, you know. And he was like, we could go probably Honda or Suzuki, which they were Yamaha before, and my cousins rode for them a little bit and stuff. Yep. And really, I wish they would have stayed Yamaha. Like
that would have been the best thing.
If we could have stayed Yamaha and rode a 250F, that would have been great. I probably would have done wonderful.
Well, and I think, didn't they go back like in 04 or 05 to
back
Yamaha?
To Yamaha, yeah. But anyway, so I'm like, I think the Suzuki is probably what we should do. And so he had a good deal, and I actually got paid through Suzuki that year, and I made a lot of money still. Like I actually made even more money, kind of riding for them. But the bike was just not what I was used to. I had never been on like a worse bike in my life, right? Like my whole life, from Dean to YOT to everything, I had been an advantage over everyone else. And now all of a sudden, I'm at a disadvantage over everyone else. And like, that was hard to deal with, and I just struggled.
So in 99 and 2000, the Suzuki that I was riding was awesome. Like, maybe the Yamaha made a little more power, picked up a little quicker, whatever, but it was a solid engine package. It handled amazing. It turned amazing. It did everything really well. In 2001, they launched an all-new bike, and it was built around Pastrana. So it was taller and longer, and I don't know what the heck they did to that motor, because I rode for Moto World in 03. I don't know if you remember that.
Okay. Yeah, I do actually now.
And I'm like, I was leaving KTM. I'm like, I just want to get back to the Suzuki to have that feeling that I had. And it was Bill's pipes. It was...
Yeah, so you're like, this is coming home.
It was Rob from RG3 doing suspension. I'm like, this is all the stuff I want. It's
and
great.
Rob did a great job. Don't get me wrong. Rob did awesome.
It was not the same. I mean, I don't know why you could not make that motor feel like what it felt like, 2 years before. So I crashed, broke my arm. I crashed so much on that bike because of the motor. Like, I would try to jump something. The RPMs would drop, and I'd go over the bars, or San Diego and the whoops. I'm trying to just skim these big old whoops, and the power just falls off and drops the front wheel, and over the bars I go. Yeah. It was the worst year, and it ended my career. That was my last year.
So it was my worst year also. All right.
Yeah. Go team.
Let's bro down. Yeah, it was horrible. I mean, I did horrible. I mean, actually, it wasn't my.
Should I not even look at these results?
Actually, it wasn't my worst year. My worst year was later. Motorsport.com, not your fault. I know it's a show sponsor. Motorsport.com, thank you. But they tried to do a team for a year, and it was a Honda team, and I did really bad that year. But that Honda was the first year the 4-stroke came out, and it was bogging all over the place, and that was just a bad deal. And part of that was my fault. I was coming off of my pro circuit injury. We're just not quite to that part of my career yet, but Motor World was rough. The bike worked good, but I got myself healthy. I switched to training with Alan Gerke that year, and Alan really just kind of changed my program, and actually trained not as hard with Alan, but he taught me like some different stuff of like recovery and like just got my legs right, rehabbed properly where my body was more balanced and things like this, right? And so he helped me a lot. And his workouts, a lot of them were pretty simple, but it worked for me at least. So that was cool.
So 2002 is rough. What I don't see any results in 03. So tell me what happened.
Yes, 03, you were worried about trying to figure out your Suzuki stuff, which I had just gone through the same issue with Suzuki the year before. So at the end of the year, I was trying to. So this is kind of an interesting story too. So me and Keith we met a guy named Bobby Reagan. Maybe you heard of him. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was Keith was kind of struggling. I can't remember exactly. He was on some privateer deal. Keith Johnson, and he was kind of struggling, him and Kevin, and we met Bobby Reagan, and he was sponsoring this kid from Texas, Chase Reed, who used to be really fast. I remember that. But Chase wasn't getting the results that Bobby expected, because as we know, Bobby has pretty high expectations. So me and Keith had met with Bobby, and we were going to do our own team with Bobby J. So it was going to be like Star Racing Bobby J's, and actually that is what ended up happening. And I was going to do that. And that was going to be awesome. And honestly, that would have been cool. Like me and Keith, 250Fs, Kevin too, probably. I can't remember who all. They ended up having several riders that next year. But it was going to be like a family thing. Grandpa was going to help support it. Bobby was going to support it, Yeah. And I was kind of excited about that. But what happened was, I think it was Dan Worley, who was Stefan's mechanic back then.
I remember Dan.
I think he's the one that told me, because they had gone to Factory Cowie, him and Stefan.
Yep.
And I think he's the one that told me, like, hey, what are you going to do next year? Like, you realize Mitch has a 4th spot still. Like, he hasn't signed a 4th rider. And I was like, dude, Mitch ain't going to hire me. Like, I'm getting 20th out there every week, Like, no chance. And so he's like, just go talk to him. So I'm like, okay. And I had heard the whole Matt Walker story. You heard that one about how he
just camped out there.
Camped out or whatever and blah, blah. So I had heard that story. So I was like, okay. So just like made up my mind, like I'm gonna convince Mitch, you know. So I just started going down there because I lived in Corona. So I started going down there and just told him like, hey, I'll win on your bike, you know. And at first he just like ignored me, like he kind of just looked at me and was just sort of turned and
rolled
off, you know. And I was like, okay. So, and I knew Mitch a little bit, but not very well.
Yeah.
But Ali Seymour was there, was the team manager back then. And I knew Ali pretty good from the Yamaha days of like doing photo shoots and stuff. And so I would talk to him about it. It was easier for me to talk to him. And I just kept on bothering Mitch about it. And finally he did this tryout thing. So like somehow they didn't have like a ton of like top guys trying to get that spot really. Like it was a bunch of us that had like had potential guys, but not like someone that you would think would get a PC ride, especially back then, because PC was like big deal, right?
Yeah.
So, and but the 0102 PC bikes I think weren't that good really. You know, the Cowie wasn't that good.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as some of the other bikes. But Brock Sellards actually is the one that told me like he was thinking about taking that 4th spot, but then he ended up signing maybe with Yamaha Troy. I can't remember. Anyway. But Brock was like, no, dude, Cowie has an all-new bike. Like, if you can get that deal, you should do it because Cowie's coming out with, like, a better bike. That's what I've heard. And I'm like, okay. So we do this test day, and I was kind of nervous driving out there. But so I was just, like, mentally preparing. And I thought we were all going to be, like, riding at the same time at first because I knew they were inviting other people. Because he had called us to this meeting before that, and he told all of us, it was, like, me, Roderick Tane, and Travis Elliott, I think, were the guys he was, like, considering.
Travis Elliott, okay.
And he called us all to the shop at the same time and stuck us in this, like, dark waiting room, like, all 3 of us. And we're just, like, sitting in there, like, looking at, like, on this couch. Like, this is, like, the only, and we're sitting there, like, okay. Like, we thought we didn't know. We thought we each had, like, a team meeting, you know? He was just, like, messing with us. But then they ended up calling us one at a time, and like the whole team was there at this table and had a discussion and kind of grilled us a little bit. And interestingly, one thing that helped me was he pulled out these sheets. He's like, "Are you in shape?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in shape." And he like pulled out the stack of papers with lap times from like all the races. And one thing that saved me was I started like 35th like every outdoor on that bike. Like I just couldn't get a start. And so at the end of the moto was always my fastest laps. So he's like going through and he's like, oh, okay, like your fastest lap was like your last 2 laps or whatever, you know? So it sort of like helped me in a weird way, but he's like, well, why are you getting 22nd? And I'm like, well, my bike sucks. Like I started 35th or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And so they were skeptical about me for sure and signing me and stuff, but anyway, so we do this. So then the next step was that he's like, we're going to do this test day thing. So on the way to Glen Helen, it is windy. I'm driving out there.
It's Supercross?
Supercross, yeah. They had the track up on the hill.
Yep.
You know, they still have it, I think.
Yep.
And it is like windy. And it just relaxed me. I was like, oh, yes. Like, I'm so psyched. Because you don't understand what we went through growing up in Albuquerque. It is windy.
All the time.
Yeah. 200 days out of the, you know, at least 200 days, like windy. It's like a little bit windy almost every day, but it's like windy. And so, I mean, we were riding Supercross. That's one of the things that Keith and I were talking about is like we had this homemade Supercross track that Uncle Vern and them guys built their idea of a Supercross track, and it was so sketchy. And like we had the James Stewart line. Like you remember the James Stewart once he started like sideways up the triple line that you were like, why would anyone take that? That's a bad line. We had that line. But because of the wind. So we're like jumping and then we jump off the track and then blow back on the triple. But anyway, I got sidetracked. So I was excited about the wind, and we had that test day, and I just killed it that day. I felt good, and track was dry, and I rode good. And did starts with Eric Sorby, actually, and I kind of felt bad about this later, but I like hole shotted him like every time on the starts, and convinced Mitch, I think. I mean, apparently, they were taking lap times, and I didn't get to see the other guys ride. Like, when I left, the other guy was showing up kind of a deal or whatever.
Okay.
But I got the ride. So I ended up not doing the Star Racing. Keith went on and did that with Bobby, and that's how Star Racing got formed. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but Bobby Jays and my grandpa helped build Star Racing, but Keith really helped build Star Racing because Keith did good on that for what the program was. Him and Kevin both. I mean, Kevin had some really good races too, but they helped build Star Racing into what it is today.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But
that's awesome. So
I went to PC.
That was 03?
That was 03. So I was on PC in 03, but the reason why you don't see results is you've heard of the PC curse, right?
Yeah.
So my bike broke in testing. It was having problems, and this was my fault. Like, they told me I could be done for the day, but I was trying to help figure it out, you know, and anyhow, just finally died at the wrong time and over the bars and broke my knee. So it wasn't an ACL or anything. It's just I broke my kneecap and tore the cartilage was all it was, which was supposedly supposed to be like a pretty easy fix. So I was trying to come back for East Coast, but they didn't get all the cartilage cleaned up in the first surgery. So when I was coming back, I was having a lot of pain and like kind of clicking and stuff. And so he's like, I think it's healed, your kneecap. Like, we're going to take the screws out because I think that screw's catching on the tendon and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. So they took it out, and then he's like, oh, I realized there was like cartilage in there that was getting in the way of stuff. So I cleaned all that out, took the screw out, everything. Well, then I put my foot down in a turn like a few weeks later and just tore the tendon. The second time tore the tendon, kneecap, everything. So
Good
then,
grief.
yeah, then the kneecap broke weird the second time, so it like didn't fit back together like a puzzle. There was like pieces or something.
Okay.
And so anyway, it took forever to heal. Like, the whole thing ended up being like a 9-month injury because I ended up having 3 surgeries trying to heal it, and my knee was like ballooned forever, and it was just.
So you never even got to race?
I never even raced, no.
Wow.
And then after that was the privateer struggles on teams, you know. But yeah, and never got the factory chance again. My best year after that was actually Moto Triple X. Was one of my favorite years. Was 05.
Okay.
And I rode for Moto Triple X for free. That was a stressful time in life. Like, the year before, I wasn't always getting paid like I was supposed to. Moto Triple X, I wasn't even getting like my expenses like I was supposed to. Half the time I was like paying myself.
What were you riding?
Hondas,
Honda
250F.
250F, okay.
Well, I rode a 252 stroke in Supercross, which was really hard because everybody else was on 450s. And then I wasn't doing great on that. And so he's like, why don't you ride a 250F on East Coast? And I'm like, done. Let's do it, you know. And I actually got top 10 that year. And
yeah.
I did okay. Like, I did pretty good.
Yeah.
Felt good, was having fun again. My mechanic at that time, Kiwi, Ross Miles, I don't know if you remember him, but Kiwi was so cool and like laid back. So me and Kiwi were having a great time. Half the year I was the only guy on the team. Everyone kept getting hurt, so I had like the semi to myself.
Who was with you? Kyle Lewis at that time?
Kyle Lewis, Nick Avenue was on 250Fs. And do we have, who else? Someone else was on the team, but he got hurt or something right away. I can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Anyway, a lot of the time I was the only one out there. And, yeah, so that year was fun and went good. I just was broke. I mean, I was like house poor, like struggling just to get by in life, you know?
Yeah.
And that's actually what brought me to Arizona. I was like, I just can't live in California anymore because I can't afford it. I'd have to figure something out, you know?
Yeah.
And then I had kind of reconnected with Ryan Clark that year. We started hanging out at the races and stuff. And he had a track over here right down the road from where I live now in Waddell. He had a house with 3 acres and a supercross track in his backyard. And he's like, why don't you move to Phoenix? Like, come, I need someone to train with. Like, come out here.
So did you ride for him the next year?
So then I ended up riding for him. Then I'm like, okay, so I was going to move out here, and I hadn't decided who I was going to ride for. And I should have, I liked riding for Ryan actually, but it probably would have been smart to stay at Triple X, and I had an offer to stay with them, and they were going to pay me and stuff. But the problem was the year before they weren't even really paying me. It was like pulling teeth to like get them to reimburse me. So I'm like, you guys could offer me any amount of money. I don't believe you that you're going to pay me. You know what I mean? So like that was the problem. So I went to Ryan, and Ryan made it happen and got me a little salary, and it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't bad. Like,
what were you guys riding there?
Hondas.
Okay.
Yeah. So I rode 450s, and then I dropped down to 250F.
What was the 450 experience like?
It was cool. I liked riding the 450.
Yeah.
It was fun. And I did okay in the beginning of the year, but kind of fizzled
And
out.
then you went into arena cross next. Was it kind of?
Yeah, so I got hurt in East Coast Supercross. Kelly Smith and I collided in the air or something. I got knocked out. I don't even really remember. But
In 06 or 7?
06.
Okay.
So that was the end of my Supercross season, basically. And then I just kind of did okay outdoors, like top 20 450s, but I was like a 15th place guy. So I didn't really have any good offers. I maybe could have stayed at Solitaire, but I didn't see it as like something that was going to progress my career, you know?
Yeah.
And then I had a deal to ride for Tough Honda for Arena Cross, and I was like, well, maybe I can go back to being like a top guy if I go do Arena Cross, which ended up not panning out because it was probably like the gnarliest Arena Cross year in history.
Who was that year?
I won a couple races, but it was so Danny Smith was my teammate, and then Brock ended up being my teammate. He started out as like on his own doing a couple races, and then Tough picked him up. So there's like the three of us. It was like me, Brock Sellers, Danny Smith, like in Arena Cross. That's pretty gnarly right there.
Yeah.
And then Robbie Raynard. Danny won the championship, but Robbie was second.
Danny Smith won?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't
So,
remember that.
so Robbie Raynard, and then my cousins were in Arena Cross then for Team Faith, Keith and Kevin, and they were gnarly at Arena Cross. Kevin was a really good Arena Crosser, like better than me.
Yeah.
He beat me all year. And Keith beat me a lot that year too, actually.
It's different, yeah.
And then Chad Johnson, Arena Cross specialist. So, I mean, like, just to make the main some nights was gnarly.
Yeah.
Like in Arena Cross.
There's only, 8 or 10? How many spots are there?
No, there was more back then. They did 2 rows back then.
Oh,
so it was
okay,
maybe
that's
like
right.
15 or something. I don't know. But still, there was, I can't remember all the guys. Like, I'm forgetting people. But there was 10 dudes that were, like,
Stacked.
legit in Arena Cross back then. But Arena Cross paid good. Like, I made a lot of money in, like, 4 months, you know. I was like, this is great. Like, I'm going to do this again next year. Like, this was wonderful.
Yeah, it seems like at certain times, and Arena Cross has kind of gone up and down, and depending on who's running it. But if you did Arena Cross and then put together some European or other racing around the globe, man, you could make a good living just doing that.
Yep.
But I think a lot of people get sucked into the allure of, no, I got to get back to Supercross, or, you know what I mean? They want to be in the big show.
It didn't work out for me because I kind of sucked in Arena Cross. I mean, I did okay. I think I won like 1 or 2 races, which was like a drama-filled thing actually because I wasn't supposed to win. I was supposed to let Danny win because it was like a championship thing, and that's why Tough didn't pick me up. Part of the reason the next year because they were mad at me about that, and it was this whole dramatic deal. Like I got punished for winning. It was weird, but anyhow, that's enough about that. But what really happened was I started doing lessons. So like I had people, I lived here in Phoenix, and I had started having people like asking me to coach their kids, like just a couple people. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. Like make some extra money. Like I could use the money type thing. And then I realized I liked it. Like that thing you were saying, like I could explain things to them. They understood what I was saying. They were getting better. I could see them getting better. The parents are happy. The kids happy. I'm like, this is cool, you know? Like, I like this.
Yeah.
And, like, I was just kind of naturally, like, good at it. And I was going to ride for Team Faith the next year. But my wife and I, we had our first kid, our son Preston, that same time frame after Arena Cross ended, like sometime in May, not sometime, I know, on his birthday. Anyway, so in May, and then that was funny. Anyhow, I was like, you know what? Like, being a dad, you understand, like, for some people, I guess it's different for people, but I was just like, I don't want to go race every weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I want to stay home with this little guy.
Yeah.
And, like, I saw a future, like, Arizona motocross was booming in 07. Like, it was huge out here. Like, big series, lots of riders. Speed World was packed every night of the week. Like, 150, 200 riders on a weeknight at Speed World. Like, it was just, so the opportunity for coaching was like perfect back then here. So I just saw, I'm like, you know what, do I see myself getting back to winning Supercross races? Like, cause that's really the only thing that's going to make me happy in the sport? Do I see that? And the answer was like, no, I don't really see that path of how I'm going to get back to that point. And so I just said, I'm going to coach. But I did the same thing that every other pro does. Not every pro. Maybe you didn't do it, but maybe you did. We'll find out in a minute. But I got the call the next season of a team that needed a rider, so I went and raced a couple of races, and that was actually really fun.
Yeah.
I whole shot the heat race in Dallas, and I got to lead a lap and like experience that like feeling again. So that was cool. But anyhow, I didn't do great or anything.
And then that was it.
And
that Dallas one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I did 2 more Supercrosses once I retired, and it was part of a road trip story I was doing for the magazine.
Oh, okay.
And I made the main in Atlanta on a 250, and I don't know, 16th, 17th, I don't know what I got overall, but that was it. And I mean, if you want to just go do it for fun, it's fine, but like, I don't think it's a good idea to try to go back. I'm gonna make a comeback. It doesn't really ever go well.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's harder than you remember.
Yeah, it is. So was it hard for you to make that choice to get out of it? Just say, no, I'm gonna coach. I'm letting go of the dream, or were you kind of good with it? Maybe your birth of your son probably helped.
Not at first. At first it was pretty easy, but over time it's hard. You know, like I try to like some of the kids I coach and stuff. Like as they get older and trying to figure out if they're gonna keep racing or move on, whatever level that is. It's like I tell them, I'm like, dude, nobody is happy with their career. You know, like. In my opinion, you can't keep hanging on racing because you didn't accomplish everything that you wanted to accomplish, because like that's just never going to happen. Like I've heard Ricky talk about like, oh dang, I let that race get away. Like I could have won whatever. James beat me, but I should have had, you know, and it's like, this is Ricky Carmichael, like the guy that won like 1,000,002 races is still thinking back thinking, oh, that one got away from me. You know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. You could tell me how you feel, but I feel like almost all of us, when we decide we have to hang it, we're either forced to hang it up or we decide or whatever, we wish we would have done more, done things differently. Things have. It's just.
I mean, Ricky's probably the exception where he looks back. Sure, he has races he wished would have gone differently, but he's the one guy that can go, yeah, I accomplished everything I wanted to do. Look at Ryan Dungey. Legendary guy, right? Won everything. He still tried to come back to racing. Like, for what? What are you coming back for? You know? And Greg Albertine told me the same thing. He's like, man, how bad do you think I wanted a Supercross title? It's the one thing. I got 3 world championships. I'm an outdoor national championship. I just wanted to win Supercross so bad, and you know.
Yep.
So you be thankful about what you got done and what you accomplished, and it's more than most.
Well, I mean, I accomplished almost nothing as a pro. I mean, I won a race, which is cool, but I mean, that's compared to like Greg Albertine, that's nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, and I understand that. Like my professional career was nothing like I hoped for at all, or thought I could have done, or whatever. It didn't work out, but that's part of my story and part of my life, and it doesn't make me not a successful person or not a happy person. You know, like I can't remember if we were sharing this on air or not, but like I'm a happy person. I got a great life. I got a great wife, kids. Yeah. I got a cool career. I mean, I get to still be at the track. I mean, some days I don't want to be at the track, but most of the time I do. And
yeah. Listen, man, I've seen a lot of unhappy people that won a lot of races or championships, and it doesn't dictate your level of happiness and fulfillment long term. And dirt bikes is this little tiny window of your life, right? There's a lot of living after that.
Yep.
And a lot of living after a lot of time after you die too.
In our case, it's still dirt bikes, kind of. But
yeah, and you know that's great. Like I love it. You know, so yeah, you got to find happiness and contentment in what you accomplish, because there's a lot of people that wish they could feel what you did that night in San Diego.
Yep.
Top of the triple, throwing your goggles, like, dude, that's something.
And I get that now. Like,
you know?
There's so many kids that just want to qualify for Loretta's. Like, I coach a ton of kids that just want to go to Loretta's one time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's a huge goal for them. So there's all levels of accomplishment and satisfaction in this sport.
Yeah. This is our Seat Concepts hot seat question, guys. If you need a seat cover, full seat, comfort seat for your dual sport bike, go to Seat Concepts. If you could go back to the fall of '99, so just, you're getting ready to do your first pro race, what advice would you give yourself, now that you've got your whole career and you've got a different perspective?
That's a tough one, for sure. I don't know, because like I needed to have that those difficulties to kind of seek God and find my faith. So I wouldn't change it really, but like I guess the advice would be just that I needed to like.
Or would you say, hey, don't turn pro?
Probably now, yeah. I'd just wait another year and get healthy, like get strong and get my training where it needed to be and stuff would have been smarter. But I had the speed, like as you said earlier. It wasn't the speed; it was just like the whole package. Like I'm sure, most pros know this, but when you're growing up, even if you're a top kid, you're racing like 3-4 guys, right? Like when you turn pro, you realize you're racing the 3-4 best guys from every year for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you're racing 30 guys that are like legit. So I needed to lower my expectations. I just put too much pressure on myself, like if I was going to tell myself again, it'd be like, hey, let's like try to be top 5. Let's try to be whatever. Let's just be happy with that. Just get used to this for a year.
It's so hard though, right? Because you want to set your bar high. I think the hard part is accepting it and moving past it when you don't hit your goal. And that's hard, for you. Like you wanted to win or at least be on the podium, and if it didn't happen, you just beat yourself up, and then you kind of get this downward spiral, and then you're like getting 10th and you're like, dude, what is happening?
Exactly.
And then man, it adds on. It snowballs the wrong direction.
Yeah,
I've been there.
It's still happening to this day. Like I don't know, I don't follow like super close, honestly, Supercross, but I do watch a little bit. But you can see it happening to this day with kids.
Oh yeah.
And I feel bad for them. Like I almost want to reach out. Like I don't even know these kids, and some of them I almost want to reach out to them and just like be like, hey, I don't know, but it looks like you're going through this. Like I've been there, but I don't know.
A lot of them aren't receptive, dude. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't have been either, honestly.
Yeah, let's say
like the Greg Albertson thing. Like, man, that could have been a thing for me, like me and Greg, because Steve was kind of trying to put us together, and actually Eddie Casillas even, like, I don't know how Eddie knew Greg, but I think it was Eddie at least. He's like, because I would go out and like grind 40-minute motos in the hills in California. Like I'd go ride like Railroad Canyon and places like that, like horrible places to ride, because that's what I was used to in Albuquerque, and that's what I wanted to do. And nobody else wanted to do it with me, that I was around at least. And someone was like, you should go ride with Greg Albertine. Like this is what he likes doing too. Like, and I never linked up with him. And then when I got on Suzuki, they kind of tried to put Greg with us. He kind of had like a coaching role, sort of.
Yeah. But
I don't really know what happened with that. Like he talked with me a few times, and then it just never materialized. Maybe I wasn't receptive. We'd have to ask him. I don't know. Maybe I was just like not into it or something. But I don't remember it being that way. But I wish I would have connected with him, because now looking back, I'm like, dude, that guy could have helped me a lot.
And it's a bummer that when you're that young, and I don't just mean you, I mean kids are just kind of dumb. It's like we talked about, you don't listen to your parents. They've made these mistakes. Like, listen to them. When a pro, even a guy who's won races, like, man, you didn't win a race by accident. You learned a lot of things the hard way along the way. And if these kids were smart, they would at least listen and take it in and go, let me think about that,
So in my training, I have 2 rules for the kids that I coach. Rule number 1 is always listen to coach. Rule number 1, always listen to coach. That's the most important. Rule 2 is important also. Never run into coach. So meaning, like, if I'm standing on the side of the track and you're out of control, you need to lay that bike down. Do not run into coach. So those are my rules.
Those are both good rules.
Good rules.
I like them. Tell me a little bit about your family. You got 3 kids.
Yep. So my oldest is Preston. He's 18. Hannah is my older daughter. She just turned 16. And then I have a young one, Faith. She just turned 8.
Okay.
And still with my wife, Danielle. We've been married a lot of years.
So how many years have you been married?
Dang it, you had to ask me.
I don't want to put you on the spot. Mine's easy.
03, so 22 years.
Okay.
Coming up on 23, I think.
I got married in 01, so I just know whatever year it is, take 1 year off. 24 years.
Gotta do math.
But our kids are actually the same age. I have an 18 and a 17-year-old, both girls. But we kind of are in the same time slot there. And one of your kids plays soccer.
Yep.
So my youngest plays competitively too. So it's been,
Yep.
we kind of got that in common. It's fun to.
Which helps me at least, like being a coach. It helps me also to be a parent of an athlete. So it's like not motocross, but I understand where the parents are coming from on certain things because like I feel those same emotions, you know.
Yeah.
When watching him do his sport and stuff.
Does he listen to you?
He listens to me. It's getting more. Our relationship's getting more difficult. Like I feel like we're at that point where I'm trying to have his coaches and other people kind of guiding him more. But when he was younger, he definitely listened to me really well. But now it's harder for him to hear like criticism from me. So I'm really trying to just stay positive and like learn from my own experience and remember what it's like to be 18 and becoming a man and stuff like that. And he's a really good kid, so like super stoked on him. But
that's rad.
Sometimes he doesn't want to hear from dad that he needs to go run or that he's not working hard enough or he needs to do this or that. He doesn't, it's kind of like hard to hear. But
I know. Are you and your mom good now? You guys patch things up?
So my mom passed away a year ago, unfortunately, but luckily, yes, we did. So when we had Preston, we were still like, we were talking then, but we were still like not in a good place. And I was able to just sit down with her and my dad. My dad and I were already kind of had fixed our stuff, but it was still awkward because of my relationship with my mom. And so I'm just like, look, we need to let this go. Like we got a whole life ahead of us. I want you to be a grandma to our kids. Like I want to be around. Like this shouldn't be a weird thing. Like I'm done racing. I'm quitting. Like let's just forget about racing. Let's move on with life. And she was like, okay, sounds good. And that was it. Like we just fixed it. It was just like. And we talked a tiny bit down the road, and I thanked her. As I got older, I had the chance to thank her a lot for everything she did for me. And we kind of touched on some things, but we never really worked out our...
Didn't really address it much.
Just like agree to disagree.
Yeah. And that's okay.
But we had a great relationship, and her and my wife ended up becoming friends and getting along, which was awesome. So
that's cool.
So, yeah, it all worked out.
What do you guys do for fun when you're not at the track?
Pretty much whatever the kids want to do is the main thing. But so I play soccer a little bit every once in a while. Not so much anymore, but a little bit. Lately, we've been hitting the go-kart track, the local go-kart track, a bunch. Preston is currently the track record holder. He's all excited about that. They do the lap times and everything, So, but my middle daughter, she's like my arts and crafts girl. So she likes going on trips with me and stuff and exploring and doing all different types of art and everything. And so she has some art classes, and sometimes I'll draw with her a little bit. But we like traveling. And then my younger girl, she likes everything. She's like... Yeah.
She's 6 or 8?
She's 8, yeah. So she does gymnastics. It's kind of her sport she thinks she wants to do right now. Okay. But she's into like whatever, swimming, bicycles, go-karts. She drives the go-karts, all the stuff, so... That's
rad.
She's up for
that. Younger age is fun, dude.
Yeah,
like I'm
so fun.
I'm looking forward to being grandpa. I think it'll be fun again. Like sometimes I think, man, I should have had a 3rd kid. You know what I mean? Because my 2 are real close, 14 months apart. So it's like they're both about to be off.
We started over and not fully on purpose. I hate it when people say that, but I used to think like, why would you say that? It wasn't planned, but yeah. It wasn't planned, so, but it's been a blessing, obviously, and
heck yeah, you're not going to regret it, Yeah. Well, our last question we ask everybody is how you want to be remembered in the sport.
Shoot, I don't know. That's a tough one. I guess just I never thought about that. However people remember me, I guess, is how it was. But
well, maybe it's your coaching, man. Maybe that's a big part of it.
Hopefully people remember me as like a talented rider and like a pretty genuine person. And you know, obviously now like my life revolves around coaching and trying to help the kids and stuff, which is a big passion of mine. And so hopefully I can impact some of those kids with their racing and help them along the way in life a little bit too, the best I can. And
yeah. I love it. Well, dude, I appreciate you taking the time. You've always been just such a good dude, always real approachable and mellow. And I haven't seen you in a long time, but
yeah,
it's like, you know, pick right back where we left off, you know.
Thanks for keep pressing me about doing this. I know I made it kind of hard, but appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, why is it so hard to get guys to sit down and talk? Like, nobody wants to hear about me. You know, and I'm like, I wouldn't be calling you if they didn't, you know. But I know, and it's time consuming, and I get it. So I appreciate it, man.
No, yeah.
You're a good dude. I hope we bump into each other more. So thanks so much.
Same here.
All right. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed that. Stick around. We'll be back to wrap up this show. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Really fun to sit down with Bucky and talk a little bit. He and I haven't really seen each other in a long time, but always have a lot of respect for him. He was an incredible racer. You should go back and watch some of those races from 2000, 2001. He was a very, very talented kid. And now doing some great coaching here in Arizona. If you're in the area, I would definitely recommend reaching out to him. Really sharp kid. And thank you guys for always supporting what we're doing. The Arizona sessions here, we've got probably go back into the studio for a little while now, but we've got a few more guys out here who we're going to come out and capture. So we'll be back to the barrel room before too long. I just want to thank our sponsors real quick. Yamaha. We just couldn't do what we do without them. Thank you so much. Element, Toyota of Redlands. We love these guys. Rockform, Arc Levers, Pro Circuit, Pro X, TBDMX, Rockwell, Nihilo Dunlop, and Motorsport.com, as well as Ethica. Thank you to all of those guys. Support them, please. They keep this show going. And we want to keep bringing them to you. There's lots of good stories out there, and we like telling them. So thanks for supporting us. See you guys next time.
Yamaha is the industry leader in two-wheeled fun and performance. Celebrating 50 years of YZ in 2024, the Blue Crew is still dominating shootouts and competitions. Yamaha, revs your heart.
Troy Lee Designs is the leader in off-road motocross apparel and style. So whether you're looking for a cool new paint job for your helmet, maybe your name and number on your helmet lettered on, you're looking for new gear, you're looking for mountain bike gear, off-road gear. They've got the brand new Scout line and GP and SE models. Troy Lee Designs has it all. They've been leading this industry for decades, and they're going to continue to do it. Check out TroyLeeDesigns.com. Throttle Show, we're all about supporting brands that support our sport. And there's one tire company that has never walked away from the sport of motocross and supercross, and it's Dunlop. When times got tough and the economy took a crash, Dunlop stepped up and stayed with our sport to support it and the athletes and individuals that love it. Their MX-53 line and MX-33 lines absolutely dominate this sport. Every national championship at the pro level has been won in the last decade, and nearly every single amateur national championship at Loretta Lynn's has been won on a Dunlop. So if you're looking for high performance, you're looking for amazing quality, and you're looking to support a brand that never turns its back on our sport, there's only one choice for you, and it's Dunlop. All right, Whiskey Throttle fam, we've got a sponsor here that I want to really encourage you guys to try, Element. If you haven't seen this stuff before, give them a check out on our Instagram bio. You can get in there. We've got a link that will give you free samples. You can go in and try this stuff. And this delivers just the right amount of electrolytes that you need when you're competing at all, especially if it's midsummer, humid. Think Loretta Lynn's, Nationals. You're sweating like crazy. This is the best way to replenish it, okay? Straight water is just going to flush more electrolytes out of your body, cause more cramping. You've got to get the electrolytes back in. This Element provides it in the perfect package with 0 sugar. It is vegan, keto, paleo-friendly, gluten-free. This is the perfect product for athletes or those pretending to be athletes. So it was designed by Rob Wolf. This guy is a crazy smart dude working in the science field. Was developing for his own use in athletics, and he came up with the perfect formula. This stuff's awesome. This right here, the citrus salt, is my favorite. Of course, you can get it in a sample pack like this where you can try some different flavors, watermelon, orange, raspberry. Great stuff. Cannot recommend this enough. If you are racing, even at a local level, and sweating at all, which, come on, we all do on a dirt bike, you've got to have some of this stuff to replenish it right. Give it a try. Like I said, go to our bio on Instagram. You can find a discount code or a link that takes you directly to there, and we'll give you a free sample. Check it out. You're not going to want to miss that. Support these guys. They are fans of the sport, and we are so stoked to be partnered with them. Element is an incredible product that I use exclusively, and I'm so proud to have them part of the Whiskey Throttle Show. Pro Circuit is the leader in aftermarket performance and quality. Whether you're looking for a little more horsepower out of your engine, some quality hard parts to improve the way your bike feels and looks, better handling through suspension or linkage arms, Pro Circuit is where you need to stop. It's your one-stop shop. You can go in there and get everything you need to make your motorcycle go from average to exceptional. Pro Circuit's got enough number one plates on their wall to side an entire home, and there's a reason for that. They're very, very good at what they do. The highest quality products with one goal in mind, and that's winning. Check out ProCircuit.com. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, look no further than Toyota of Redlands. You've got to support a brand that is supporting motocross big time. At the amateur level, pro level, they are part owners in the Bar X Yamaha racing team. They support a ton of riders individually, and they support us here at Whiskey Throttle Media. And I'll tell you what, the facility up there in Redlands is absolutely incredible. It's beautiful. The folks are friendly. They're professional. And if you've never owned a Toyota, you got to give it a try. It is the only brand that I'll drive anymore. If you're buying, there's nothing more reliable, nothing that holds its resale value better. And the folks at Toyota of Redlands are just they still remember what customer service is. I guess that's all I really need to say. Incredibly friendly, professional, and just talented staff up there. We're stoked to have them a part of the show. If you see the Whiskey Throttle truck around here, the Toyota of Redlands Tundra, give us a wave and a honk. But, man, just so stoked to have these guys on board. Like I said, anybody like that that's getting involved and supporting the sport, we just want to push as many people as we can to them because those folks are rare, and especially when they have an incredible product and provide an incredible service. So get up to Toyota of Redlands, California. If you're anywhere in southern United States, southwest United States, it's worth the drive. Get over there, check those guys out. Tell them the Whiskey Throttle Crew sent you. On-switch device, something that was much needed in this sport. They've been innovating and bringing new products to market. Their latest is the new Nihilo Run Cool brake pistons. They're designed to be stronger than stock and provide exceptional cooling performance with less brake drag. Most OEM calipers pistons are made from aluminum that just can't hold up to the heat and extreme demands of serious racing. When they get hot, the aluminum will distort, causing loss of hydraulic pressure and brake failure. Nihilo's Run Cool pistons limit the area that boiling hot hydraulic fluid is able to come in contact with the piston, leaving 2/3 of the piston volume in open air with breather holes to enhance the cooling ability. It's made of a proprietary stainless blend, which is better at dissipating heat. You have issues with brake fade or brake failure, check out Nihilo Concepts among their many amazing hard parts and carbon fiber parts and titanium. NihiloConcepts.com. Seat Concepts is the leader in motorcycle saddles. If you're looking for a new cover or a new seat entirely, Seat Concepts is the place to go. They make custom seat foams catered to your height, weight, riding ability, riding type. They also have waterproof covers and foams that will not break down if you ride in a lot of inclement weather. And they pride themselves on being much more comfortable than OEM or any other aftermarket company. If you're looking for a new seat or a new cover, Seat Concepts, there's nothing better. Guys, I want to introduce you to Rockform, and a sponsor of the Whiskey Throttle Show here that has just been blowing my mind with their products. They've got all kinds of, started as phone cases. This is their rugged phone case here that I've got, which is just bulletproof. You could throw this thing out of an airplane, probably pick it up and be just fine. And on the back here, everything is magnetic, so it'll just stick to anything metallic, obviously. But this little locking device you've got in the back, this bolts onto handlebar mounts, car mounts, adhesive mounts, magnetic mounts, and it does not come off. It is locked in. I have no fear that my phone is going to pop off a handlebar on a street bike ride. And then I like the little sport ring they've got. They've got all kinds of devices that pop in here, but this thing acts as a stand. If you want to sit this thing up and watch something on your phone or work on it, Just absolutely incredible. And this is magnetic as well. All kinds of amazing products, guys, for your phone. Kind of that's their primary function. They also have the G-Rock speaker. This is basically made for golf, and you just stick it to the frame of your golf cart and get after it. Got great tunes all day long. So a ton of products, but check out our boys at Rockform. These guys are killing it. I'm so stoked to be partnered with this brand. You know, we really pride ourselves on partnering with elite brands, really, really high-level companies, and Rockform is right on cue. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro-X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro-X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the Polaris RZR 800s. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro-X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Pro-X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the... All right, so you had a tip over in the garage or at the track and you broke your lever off. What are you going to do? Go to Arc Levers, guys. They're the only people you need to check out in this space. Arc Levers, everything manufactured right here in the United States to craftsman precision. The stuff is awesome. Whether you're looking for an entire clutch perch with maybe a bigger wheel, they make the wheel super easy to find and adjust. Or maybe you just want replacement levers. They do that as well. Anything you're after, they can change the throw, the feel, everything you want. Custom. They can make them feel different, look different colors. These guys are dialed, man. They've got all kinds of cool products. If you haven't been over to Arc Levers and seen what they've got, check them out. These guys are being run by Factory Honda. If they're good enough for Jet Lawrence, I think you and I can probably make them work. The Star Racing Yamaha team, a lot of factory riders running them for good reason. They're the best products in the business. Check out Arc Levers. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by Motosport.com. It doesn't matter if you like to pull a throttle cable on a dirt bike, street bike, side-by-side. Motosport.com is putting riders first with parts, gear, and accessories, including some of our partners like Troy Lee Designs, Dunlop, Pro Circuit, and more. They offer first returns free on apparel so you can buy with confidence. And Motosport.com offers fast, free shipping on all orders over $79. Make your next ride your best ride. Visit Motosport.com. If you're considering a facelift for your dirt bike, look no further than TBD MX. TBD MX offers fully customizable graphics. Whatever you want to put on there, it's up to you. You're the boss. You want a military theme? No problem. Give them an idea of what you're after and they'll make it. You want to put unicorns on there? Well, that's super weird, but he'll do it for you anyway. They use the highest quality materials cut to the exact dial lines for easy installation, which, if you've ever put graphics on, you know is important. No bubbles, no creases. They fit perfectly. And they offer fast service and shipping, so you're not waiting around forever to get your bike dialed in. So stop looking like a dork at the track. Go to tbdmx.com and get yourself dialed in with a set of graphics that you want, with your sponsors and the things you want to see on it. TBDMX making the best graphics in motocross, and the Whiskey Throttle Media Crew and the Whiskey Throttle Show is stoked to be partnered with TBDMX. Follow them on Instagram, give them a follow, and follow along with all of our bike builds as we feature the TBDMX graphics on all our builds. Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com. Use our code WHISKEY20. Get you 20% off. And give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding. Your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear. No. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts for kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody. You name it. They make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com. Check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20. Use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. All right, the sun is shining. That means you guys need to find yourself a good pair of sunglasses and look no further than Rockwell. These guys are making some incredible shades right now. They're all designed here in the USA, made in Italy. Very, very high-end craftsmanship on these things. They've got so many different models for men's and women's styles. There's floatable glasses, so if you're out on a lake, on a boat somewhere this summer, go out, find yourself a pair of the floatable ones. They've also got wireframe. They've got wraparound. Anything you're after, any style, Rockwell makes it. We are also working on a motocross goggle that is going to be insane. We are in the development stages of that. I'm helping them with that, as is Justin Hill and a couple other guys. So stay tuned for that. That's coming. They also make all kinds of casual wear. Rockwell is getting it done in all kinds of markets. But the sunglasses, whoo, these things are next level. Check them out, rockwell.com.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. You're kind of like, well, I salt my food, I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
Last but not least, Specialized Bicycles. If you are in the market to start pedaling, this is where you want to start. They've got great entry-level bikes all the way up to the Cadillac, the new Levo e-bike. Anything in between, man. It doesn't matter what kind of riding you're doing. Go check out and start with Specialized. Don't waste your time on something that's going to break. The derailler's not going to shift after a couple months. Get something quality. These guys make it. Specialized leads that industry. Thanks for checking out the Whiskey Throttle Show. If you guys liked it, be sure to like and subscribe so you get notified anytime we have a new show go up. You can also go over to WhiskeyThrottleMedia.com and check out all of the content, new bike builds, new bike introductions. We've got all kinds of features in the moto and off-road space, as well as all of the current Whiskey Throttle shows listed there. You can find our YouTube channel to get a complete list by season of all the shows we've done, well over 100 at this point. And also follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, like, subscribe, comment, all that junk. We'll see you guys.